happen. Today it will happen. Second-ranked Alabama against 11th-ranked Auburn. In Auburn for the first time ever. A full spectrum of football heroes from Bear Bryant to Bo Jackson have been a part of this glorious series, yet many of them never would have believed that this game would one day shift to this site. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jim Nance, and welcome to the Southern Plains of Alabama, where for the first time ever, the Alabama Crimson Tide comes in to challenge the Auburn Tigers. Clearly today, the objective for these teams is to win the state title, but there is certainly much more at stake than just that. In fact, by the end of the day, the Southeastern Conference title will be finalized, as will the conference representative in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Now, Alabama can win the conference outright and go into New Orleans undefeated with a victory today. However, Auburn could spoil those plans, and we could even see a three-way tie by the end of the day if Tennessee can claim victory against Vanderbilt. Now, the national championship picture is also in focus here. The Crimson Tide ranks second in the country, however, obviously needing a victory today to keep any hopes at all alive of winning the national championship. Now, yesterday, Alabama made its first journey ever from Tuscaloosa to Auburn, and many of the fans tagged along. They went through the towns of Centerville and Maplesville. They all came. 160 miles they traveled to a new world. Meanwhile, here at Auburn, all week it's been a celebration. Pep rallies and parades, and a time for everyone on both sides of this rivalry to reflect.
It is a huge recruiting game. It's for bragging rights. It's your basic way of life in the South.
The rivalry between Auburn and Alabama is the most intense football rivalry I've ever seen or have been around.
I mean, they are so fiercely loyal. They'll give their thumbs on a Saturday. Yet they're not mean. They're not mean. They'll take their lumps and take their licks and go home and growl about it for a year and then come back the next year and yell louder.
Tomorrow, half the state is going to be ecstatic, and the other half of the state is going to ruin their life.
Alabama is undefeated 10-0 right now, but if they don't beat Auburn, it's really not considered a winning season.
You know, like 98% of the people in the state, their lives revolve a great deal around either Auburn or Alabama football.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch. You better tie your TV set down, but if you're going to stay at home just and watch it, because it just may jump right off the stand.
So there's your warning from Bo Jackson, the 1985 Heisman Trophy winner from here at Auburn. Speaking of the Heisman, later today we'll have the live announcement of the 1989 Heisman Trophy Award winner right here on CBS Sports. And for more on that, let's send you back right now to the Downtown Athletic Club in New York and my colleague Greg Gumbel. Greg, take it away.
All right, thank you, Jim, and welcome everyone to the Downtown Athletic Club in Lower Manhattan here. And obviously we are in the Heisman room, where a little bit later today we will bring you live coverage of the 1989 Heisman Award ceremony, the culmination of what has been one of the most interesting and exciting Heisman races in its 54-year history. But right now, let's get caught up quickly on some of the scores from today's on-the-field college action, and we'll begin with a game much earlier today in Dublin, Ireland. The Pitt Panthers defeating Rutgers for the 7th time in 7 meetings, 46-29 the final score. Vanderbilt leads Tennessee. That game is in the third quarter. The Volunteers are playing that game without running back Chuck Webb. He has an injured ankle. And in the second quarter, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Tech leads it by 3. Georgia has a 3-game winning streak against Tech. I want to remind you, Mike Francesa and I will be back at halftime with scores and highlights from the Downtown Athletic Club. And of course, after the game, we will have the Heisman Award ceremony coming up. But right now, unbeaten Alabama and Auburn are moving closer to kickoff. We'll get you back down to Jordan-Hare Stadium, and Jim, Pat, and John after this message and a word from your local station.
When morning, a tradition continued. It's called the Auburn Tiger Walk, but it was a walk like never before. Never before have the Auburn Tigers marched to their own stadium to take on the men from Alabama. The Auburn fans forming a tunnel all the way to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Speaking of a tunnel, let's take you right now inside the tunnel here at the stadium, where my partner in the booth, Pat Hayden, is standing by. Pat?
All right, Jim, in just a few moments, this Alabama team is going to make an historic walk themselves as they walk through here to Jordan-Hare Stadium for the very first time. And when they do, one of the country's best defensive players will be among these Alabama players. That's linebacker Keith McCants. He's been a dominating player all season long. But surprisingly, on this team, he's been overshadowed by a player who hasn't made anybody's All-America team, and that's their quarterback, Gary Hollingsworth. Now, Gary Hollingsworth started the season as an unknown backup, but he had his chance to play and start when the starting quarterback, Jeff Dunn, was injured, and he has seized the moment, and he leads this offense now. And it's an interesting offense, and what makes them so difficult to defend is they really pass the ball around to different players. Now, of the 5 different players and positions they'll catch passes today, each of those positions have caught over 30 balls each. They like to dink the ball here and there, but they force you to cover all 5 receivers on every single play. So, John Dockery, this Auburn defense that has been so good for so long has another stiff challenge today.
Pat, a tradition of fine defense here at Auburn, and the likes of Tracy Rocker and Andre Bruce. This year, no different, as evidenced by points allowed. Under 10 points a game allowed. This is a proud defense that has had to carry the Tigers while waiting for the offense to come around. The reason? A solid front 3 and a dynamic duo at linebacker. Craig Ogletree and Quentin Riggins together combined for 25 tackles per game. That's 25. And you may talk about Jim Nantz, Keith McCants for Alabama, but these smaller projectiles don't miss their targets very often either.
All right, Doc. In Alabama now, in the tunnel, and about to come out here at Auburn for the first time. Auburn has waited a long time for this moment. And now the second-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama. Bill Curry's team with the longest win streak in the nation now at 12 wins in a row. Two-time defending champion Auburn. Team looking for a piece of its 3rd straight SEC title. It's a Southern-style shootout, and it's a landmark event in Alabama, and it's coming up next.
CBS Sports presents college football live from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. It's the 2nd-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama versus the 11th-ranked Auburn Tigers. Today's CFA game is sponsored by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Northwest Airlines, their job is helping you do yours. And by Kodak Batteries, depend on us to last longer than ever.
Okay, thanks.
Cold and cloudy. However, it should be duly noted that just moments ago, the clouds parted overhead and blue sky was above as we get started for Alabama and Auburn. Auburn has won the toss and elected to receive. So Philip Doyle will kick, standing at the goal line. For Auburn is Alexander Wright. Wright from the 5. Oh, he's hammered at the 32-yard line. Lorenzo Ward on the tackle. A jarring hit to start it out. And out comes the Auburn offense, guided by Reggie Slack. In the backfield, Alex Strong and Stacy Danley, the starters today. Wright, the return man, and the deep threat, Greg Taylor, the possession receiver for Auburn. Stacy Danley, number 32, will be the tailback. He will alternate today with James Joseph and Darrell Williams. Right away, Slack's pass caught. Greg Taylor and a first down for Auburn. A gain of 12. Alabama nose tackle is Willie Wyatt, senior from Gardendale, Alabama. On that defensive line, Thornton and Rayham. The linebackers for the Tide, John Summons and the great one, Keith McCants, along with Steve Webb and Spencer Hammond. From the 44, first and 10 Auburn. Slack. A gain of 6 to Alexander Wright. Auburn opens with back-to-back passes.
And Jim, Auburn believes they can actually run the ball straight at them behind this offensive line. John Hudson, who's had a very nice year at center. Ed King, one of the best in the country at guard, and Brad Johnson, and Brown and Selby are the tackles, along with the tight end Victor Hall, who's had a very nice year.
Second down and 6. Stacy Danley, only a yard. Tackled by Willie Wyatt.
Willie Wyatt, number 98 there, is a nightmare for centers. You think about him all week long if you're a center and you have to go against him. He has that kind of year. 4 years he has started at Alabama. In 4 years he's come up with big plays in the Auburn game.
Bill Curry says you can make a case for Wyatt being our most valuable player this year. 3rd and 5 for the Tigers. Looking for Alexander Wright. Complete. On the pass to Alexander Wright.
And Larry Blakeney, the offensive coordinator Auburn, said we're going to throw the ball 6 times deep to Alexander Wright today. He has that kind of speed. An all-American track man here at Auburn and becoming more and more comfortable as a receiver.
Had one-on-one coverage with Ephraim Thomas. First and goal for the Tigers. Slack does a good job getting it away. He was getting pressure from Spencer Hammond. And let's meet now the secondary for Alabama. Mangum and Ephraim Thomas. On the corners, the safeties Lee Osmont and Charles Gardner. Bill Curry in his 3rd year at Alabama, looking for his first win over Auburn. And Pat Dye. His team's 2nd and goal from the 7. Stacy Danley, just short.
Stacy Danley says about himself, he says, hey, I'm a power runner. I don't dip and dodge much, but you give me a little crease and I'll find it. He's a big guy, big back, 215 pounds, and this is where you want to run him when you get down inside the 10-yard line. And here nearly brings this one in.
The knee was down. Good call, just short of the goal line. Now, just inches shy. It's 3rd and goal from the 1. James Joseph comes in. The extra tight end is Autry. Touchdown, Auburn. Joseph over the top, and Auburn drives right down the field for an opening score. Win Lyle now with the extra point. He drills it. 7-0 Auburn.
And a big push by the offensive line really cleared the way for James Joseph. But Jim, this was a terrific drive by the Auburn Tigers. They came out throwing the football. They showed finesse early on. But when they had to get the ball into the end zone, they gave you a lot of power right over the center's block, John Hudson.
I love what you do for me. Why do you?
Welcome back to Jordan-Hare Stadium. 85,000 people packed in here for the historic first time ever for Auburn, Alabama to play. Auburn leads 7-0, and to me, Jim Nantz and Pat Hayden, environment is so important, especially for young athletes. Remember last week in the Orange Bowl, Notre Dame had to deal with the oppressive environment there. Well, this is much the same for Alabama. They had hoped to strike early and take the crowd out of this game. It hasn't happened that way for them. Back to you guys.
Jim Von Weil kicks off for Auburn. That's Pierre Good on the return from the 11. Swarmed under at the 22-yard line by Al Nash. And here comes the hot shot from Hamilton, Gary Hollingsworth, the quarterback of the Crimson Tide. He is joined in the backfield by Kevin Kerner, a good receiver, and Saran Stacy, who has 18 touchdowns this year. Marco Battle is the captain of the team, and Craig Sanderson, a high school teammate of Gary Hollingsworth. Stacy. Only 2. Oh, that Auburn defense. Wiley coming in there. Crawford and Riggins. In fact, let's take a look at them. Richard Shea is the starting nose tackle today. Joined on that defensive line by Lamar Rogers and Fernando Horn. Darrell Crawford, Quentin Riggins. Inside backers on the outside. Craig Ogletree and Elton Billingsley. 2nd and 7 for Alabama. Now in the shotgun. A good fake, and it's caught by the tight end, Lamont Russell. A gain of 15. And this is a real surprise taking place.
Goodness.
Vanderbilt over Tennessee. Volunteers 9-1 on the year. The Commodores 1-9.
Again, we saw right there Gary Hollingsworth finding his tight end. They feature the tight end and the fullback.
Here's the handoff to Turner. And a gain of about 3, tackled by Crawford. Pat, what about this offensive line from Alabama?
You know, they've done a great job of protecting Hollingsworth, and it always starts with your center, Roger Schultz, who's had a nice year. Robinette, Patterson are the guards. Robinette does a lot of pulling. Vince Strickland's the left tackle, Chapman's the right. And Lamont Russell, the man who came in with 44 receptions, just caught his 45th pass of the year.
Top receiver on this Alabama team, 2nd and 7. Hollingsworth over the head of Russell. Had coverage out there by Quentin Riggins.
And good early inside pressure by David Rocker, number 95, who got his hands up and forced Hollingsworth to throw that ball high. And that's what it's going to take, because this Alabama offense, Jim, is very much a rhythm type of offense. Hollingsworth will get back, find his receiver very quickly, and throw the ball on rhythm, on time. He doesn't have a rocket arm, but he knows where to throw it quickly.
On 3rd and 7, he brings in the extra receiver, Prince Wimbley. Down he goes. Mike Campbell.
Mike Campbell is a guy who's just come on the last few weeks for the Tigers, and he comes right up the middle, even though it's a shotgun formation. First, Hollingsworth had outside pressure, had to step up, and that allowed Campbell, number 98, to step inside and make the play. So there was 2 defensive linemen there on Hollingsworth.
Bill Smith is the punter for Alabama. Shane Wasden calls for a fair catch at the 24-yard line. A good punt, 44-yard punt, but Auburn comes back out on the field after driving it last time for a touchdown.
To understand Asia,
addressed the offense as they ran off the field and said, hey guys, we can move the ball, but we have to quit stopping ourselves. We have to quit making mistakes and letting this crowd affect us.
Auburn has it 1st and 10 from its 24-yard line. Teapot Brown is the fullback with Danley the tailback. Danley, and a gain of 5.
Jim, I really believe this is going to be a 15-round fight, but the first round clearly goes to Auburn. They've done just about everything they've had to do, both running and passing. In the middle of the screen, 86 is Keith McCants, the All-American lineman. Ed King comes around, but he's blocked by one of the tight ends there. I think it was number 87, Victor Hall, who blocked McCants, kept him away from the play, and that's a nice block on McCants.
3 receivers in the game on 2nd and 6. With great time, Slack throws it away. Good coverage downfield. You see Greg Taylor, the Auburn man in the area, had 3 guys around him from Alabama.
A game like this, Jim, we've talked so much about emotion, and the team that can keep that emotion for 4 quarters, I think, is the one who's going to win this game. And oftentimes, it's much easier for the home team when they have a crowd like this of 85,000, most of them for that team.
Pat Dye with a win today would have now 3 straight SEC titles, or a part of them. The only coaches to do that, Bob Nealon, Vince Dooley, and Bear Bryant. He could join them. 3rd and 6, and a fumble. Alabama football.
When I think it was Willie Wyatt early, Jim, that caused the fumble. A tremendous charge up front by the Alabama front as the handoff, and as soon as the ball gets to Williams right there, it is stripped by the left hand, and I think that's Willie Wyatt, and then about 3 other jerseys, white jerseys, it was Sullins, number 90, who ultimately made the recovery. We talked about Willie Wyatt, and he's a nightmare for centers, and now you can see why.
It looked like the freshman running back Darrell Williams saw Wyatt right in front of him, and it was a shaky exchange from Slack.
Tried to move out of the way.
First down from the 21. Stacy cutting back. What a run by Saran Stacy. George Thornton's recovery sets up Alabama right in the end of the field where the Alabama fans are gathered.
Saran Stacy, you talk to their coaches, what they say about Stacy is he knows where the goal line. He doesn't waste any motion. He takes it upfield and gets the ball in.
Here he is again. Stacy, and a 2-yard loss. Hit first by John Wiley. Ogletree over there along with Corey Barlow.
And what a nice play by John Wiley, number 9, the free safety of the Auburn Tigers. Here's a man who was a corner a year ago, but they needed a guy who was a good open field tackler at free safety, so they moved Wiley there. And in this game already, he has made 3 plays. He stuffed an inside run earlier in the game. This time he stopped Stacy running to the outside.
2nd and goal from the 6 for Alabama. Looking to tie it up early. Hollingsworth, and over the head of Charlie Abrams. That's a similar route that they used for a touchdown against Penn State. They found Lamont Russell in that game for a score.
Well, Tennessee comes back to tie it up, but you're right, Jim, and again, the Auburn staff knows that Alabama likes to go to the tight end here, and there were 4 guys around Lamont Russell that time, the tight end.
It's David Rocker on the field, defensive tackle for Auburn. And with the timeout on the field, we'll come back with Alabama facing 3rd and goal from the 6.
The leg whip really actually when he fell down right here, you're going to see David Rocker as he's trying to rush the passer. And he kind of gets caught in a bunch of bodies, runs into the center of Roger Schultz, and it's his right knee. You know, Jim, it was actually the same end zone, same part of the field that his brother hurt his knee on a few years ago.
His brother Tracy, winner last year of the Outland and Lombardi trophies. Walter Tate is now in, a freshman on the defensive line, along with Fernando Horn and Lamar Rogers. 3rd and goal from the 6. Hollingsworth rolling and throwing, intended for Battle. D'Amico Anderson was the man guarding Marco Battle.
And again, it was quick upfield pressure, really, that forced the high throw by Hollingsworth. But I tell you, thus far in the game, it's been very good pressure by the front 5 of Auburn that really hasn't allowed Hollingsworth much time to find any open receivers.
superb kicker, Philip Doyle, 20 of 22 on the year, will attempt a 24-yard field goal out of a hold from Jeff Wall. It's good, and Alabama's first points on a field goal by Doyle. Midway through the first quarter, 7-3 Auburn.
Well, thus far, it has been the surprise play has been the long pass, the 44-yard pass from Reggie Slack to Alexander Wright. Auburn has not been a big play offensive team this year, but today they feel they can get the ball deep to Alexander Wright.
By the end of today, the Sugar Bowl may have to face a decision as to which team to invite to New Orleans. Be no decision of all, of course, at all, should Alabama win this game. But if Auburn wins and Tennessee wins, then it would be a three-way tie. Spoke yesterday with the Sugar Bowl executive director Mickey Holmes, and he assured me there's no formula going into today. The Sugar Bowl has 2 representatives at the Tennessee game and 2 here at Auburn, including the Sugar Bowl president, Jim Flower. All of the mechanics are set up for them to make a decision, a conference call after the games involving the team selection committee of 17 people. And they will try to select the team they believe is the highest ranked team. That's should Auburn win this one.
Can you imagine trying to fight your way to play Miami?
Miami will be there January 1st. Alexander Wright on the return to the 29-yard line. Oh, the pressure of this game. Coaches know all about it, especially Bill Curry.
I can be walking across the shopping center parking lot in July, and I can have an 80-year-old matriarch walk up and say, "Coach, I would just like to hug you. I'm an Alabama fan." And of course I say, "Well, fine, that's wonderful, I appreciate it." And then whispered into my ear is this, "Beat Auburn. You've got to beat Auburn."
It's a constant year-round obsession here in Alabama. 1st and 10 Auburn from its 29-yard line. Joseph and Danley split behind Slack. Joseph on the reception, nice move, and McCants runs him down. A gain of 14 on the completion to James Joseph. He scored the touchdown for Auburn.
You know, it's really important that James Joseph has emerged as the leader of this offense. This team earlier in the year was struggling to find a leader and an identity and a personality. And James Joseph has been the guy to step forward and give this team a personality, a tough physical personality.
He's a lone setback. 3 receivers in. Dale Overton and Shane Wasden join Greg Taylor on 1st and 10. Slack rifles the pass to Wasden. And Auburn is in Alabama territory.
An 18-yard reception by Wasden. And Jim, what you're seeing is Auburn throwing virtually every pass to the outside because the corners are taking the inside away. So they're going to continue to run these out cuts until they take those away or rotate up. But a nice route, a precise route run by Shane Wasden.
At the Alabama 40. Reggie Slack is hot here in the first quarter. Oh, a slip. Stacey Danley lost his footing after taking the handoff. No gain.
You know, talking about Reggie Slack, you watch him the first time on film, Jim, and you really aren't that impressed. But the more and more you watch him, the more concerned you get. He's a guy that has done an awful lot for this team, had to carry this team at times during the year. Again, a very difficult conference and a very difficult schedule.
2nd and 10 for Auburn.
The audible by Slack.
Trying the left side again. He had a man open, but it was way over the head of Alexander Wright.
You see, again, the out cut. And anytime he sees the defensive corner lining up inside, he's just going to audible to the out.
Slack, the all-SEC quarterback a year ago. He's number 2 all-time on the Auburn passing list behind his position coach, Pat Sullivan, 1971 Heisman Trophy winner from here at Auburn. 3rd down and 10. 4 receivers in the game. And and intended for Joseph, with McCants covering. As we go down to the sidelines with John Dockery. Doc?
You know, Jim and Pat, if you look behind me, you'll see David Rocker. He's just putting his right shoe back on. What happened, it looked at first it was his knee, Pat Hayden, but it was actually his ankle. They taped it up. They put a pad on it. It's bruised. He's going to try and play again. Interesting, though, with the depth on the defensive line for Auburn, they shouldn't have much problem there. Back to you guys.
That's Richie Nell punting to Gene Jelks, and the fair catch is called at the 13-yard line. 27-yard punt puts Alabama inside of its own 20. Now, this is the 53rd meeting between these two. Actually the 54th today. And Legion Field has been the site the last 40 years, but you go back to this series, it started in 1893. And it's also been scattered across the country or the state in Montgomery and Tuscaloosa. Back at the turn of the century. Now the give to Stacy and a gain of 2. Rogers and Horn on the tackle.
You will see Gary Hollingsworth has some very interesting ball handling today. They spend a lot of time on this. Watch how he puts the ball. They don't hide the ball like most quarterbacks do. They put it there so everybody can see it. And they believe that sets up their play-action passes a little bit better. And in this kind of game, you're going to see a lot of extracurricular activity. That's Prince Wimbley and Eric Ramsey.
2nd and 8. Hollingsworth out of the shotgun. Hands it off to Stacy. And he's out to the 20-yard line.
You know, Jim, you just mentioned an interesting thing in that when Alabama runs the shotgun in a stadium like this, it's even more difficult to hear the calls, particularly between the center, Roger Schultz, and Hollingsworth, the quarterback. And if you're trying to call audibles, sometimes you have to use hand signals in an environment like this.
Well, the offense edge early to Auburn. They're driving at 68 yards and a touchdown on its opening possession. 3rd down and 2. Stacy has the first down to the 26-yard line. There was a fumble on the tail end of that. And let's see. No indication. Now they're going to rule him down. And it's a first down for Alabama at the 26-yard line.
All of a sudden we have 85,000 officials, but Elton Billingsley, number 47 of the Tigers, came out with the ball. But Stacy, number 27, has a nice combination of speed and toughness. I think that should have been a fumble, Jim. That should have been a fumble recovered by Billingsley. He was still going down.
1st and 10 instead for Alabama. Swings it over to Stacy, and he's out to the 30-yard line. A short gain for the Tide.
Stacy was still up. Take another look at the fumble, but I think Stacy was still up when the ball came loose.
Watch 47 here, Pat. It looks like he walks off with the football.
Yeah. There's the ball loose right there, and he's still moving forward. Then 47 Billings, he just takes it right there. That should have been Auburn's ball.
A break for Alabama, and Hollingsworth calls a timeout on 2nd and 6. We're inside 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. 7-3 Auburn. Big for the Tide seniors.
Well, when you're 0-3 against Auburn, it means everything. It's our last shot at redemption, I guess you could say, and going down there, it makes it all the more special.
To beat them my last year, it will give me a little leeway with the guys that I know go to school down there. They won't be able to rag me the rest of my life. That's something, but to win a championship, to be 11-0, that's more important than that right now.
Well, these Alabama players, you talk to them, they say, we think about Auburn 365 days a year, and if there are more days, we think about them more.
On 3rd and 6, the handoff to Martin Houston, and he's going to be about a yard short of the first down. And to get just past the 36-yard line. That was was actually a second down play for Alabama, so it's 3rd and short. They're bringing in the extra tight end, Charlie Abrams.
And this is a very important down right now for this Tide offense because the crowd and the emotion is favoring Auburn.
All right, Abrams does not come in, but it's Houston and Derek Owens-Lassick in the backfield. The two backups, and Owens-Lassick on the carry, and they may have to measure for this one. Ogletree hit him first, along with Riggins.
Derek Owens-Lassick, number 25, really emerged on this Tide team, particularly after Murray Hill, their starting tailback at the beginning of the year, was injured. He's a lot like Saran Stacy, kind of a power runner inside, but has enough speed to get upfield. That is as close as you can get to a first down.
It really is. That's a first down for Alabama.
And obviously a very important one for the Tide as they try to manufacture a few more first downs and keep this crowd out of it.
Auburn continues to shuttle in changes on the defensive front. John Wilson and Tim Cromartie come in. First down for Alabama. The fake by Hollingsworth. His receiver fell down. It was Craig Sanderson.
Yeah. Remember, we saw Alabama slips and slide so much when they played Penn State on the grass. And again, they ordinarily play on AstroTurf. That is remarkable because Alabama has pretty much lived by the pass today. I mean, this year.
Of course, it is early, and the bulk of that coming on that 44-yard completion for Auburn to set up the first score. Now it's second down. The run by Owens-Lassick, and nothing there.
It's great faking by this Alabama team and Gary Hollingsworth. Their offensive coordinator, Homer Smith, I think is one of the most clever offensive coordinators in the country. They spend an awful lot of time on just those little things. But Alabama is not going to win this game if they keep getting themselves in 3rd and long. Right now, they face a 3rd and 10. This needs to be a 3rd and 2 type of game.
He'll fight the noise and go from the shotgun on 3rd and 10. Russell to the Auburn 34-yard line.
Lamont Russell is absolutely incredible to me because some receivers don't come open at the right time, but he does in the slot. Little head fake there on Barlow, number 12. But a lot of receivers will get open when the quarterback isn't ready to throw the ball. But what Russell does a great job of is making sure he's open at the precise moment that Hollingsworth is ready to throw the pass.
Pat, there had been a flag down on that play. It was defensive holding against Auburn and declined. So 1st and 10, Alabama. Ball is just inside the 35-yard line of Auburn. Turner is back in there along with Owens-Lassick.
And the audible by Hollingsworth.
Owens-Lassick for 3.
Okay, that was a great example how loud it is. Hollingsworth called the audible to Turner, and Turner relayed the audible to his tailback, Owens-Lassick.
Looking at Darrell Crawford. Been in early on a lot of plays. Oh, this one's still in the 4th quarter. Tennessee and Vanderbilt tied at 10. Here at 7-3 Auburn. First quarter. Bama is driving 2nd and 8. Hollingsworth lobs it. Oh, what a play. Lamont Russell and a late flag.
We're going to get him for a late hit. This is a sensational play by the Tide. You talk about two guys communicating well together, passer and receiver, that was the play.
And a personal foul, late hit against the defense, be half the distance plus automatic first down.
Ball will be inside of the 5-yard line. Pat, what about the touch on this pass from Hollingsworth?
Just a remarkable feel. Some quarterbacks just have that sense, the feel about it. You don't have to have a rocket arm sometimes to make plays like that. But it was a wonderful touch by Hollingsworth to Russell.
Houston is the fullback. Stacy, the tailback, on 1st and goal. The pitch to Stacy, and a loss of 2. Hit first by Walter Tate.
Well, you see the audibles there called by Gary Hollingsworth. I think this is a tough area of the field to be calling audibles. You're going in to score, and the crowd is so loud. But you see the communication from Hollingsworth. He leans back, talks to his fullback. The fullback then relays the audible to the tailback. I don't think you should be calling many audibles this area of the field.
Wembley to the right, battle in a slot right. Stacy and Turner in the backfield. 2nd and goal. Hollingsworth, incomplete. Intended for Prince Wembley. He had a shot at it at the goal line. John Wiley on the coverage.
Pat Dye thinks that offensive line of Alabama is holding. Every head coach I've met thinks the other team is holding. But again, another nice play by John Wiley, the free safety.
The Auburn defense has allowed only 1 touchdown pass this year. This was close to being the 2nd. Wembley at the goal line, couldn't hold on. 3rd and goal. Hollingsworth over the head of Lamont Russell.
And Jim, Marco Battle was wide open for a touchdown. There wasn't a guy within 5 yards of Marco Battle. The man right here, he's going to run the crossing route. Watch, everybody takes the tight end. Look at that. Nobody covered him. It was a missed coverage. And Hollingsworth did not find him.
So again, Alabama is stopped inside of the 10-yard line, and Philip Doyle comes in for his 2nd field goal attempt. This one just 1 yard longer than the last. This is 24, this is actually 22 yards. And the pass, incomplete. Jeff Wall threw the ball to David Lenore.
Wow. Unbelievable call by Bill Curry. And I don't think it was necessarily a bad call, but just give Auburn some credit for not being surprised. The holder was number 16, Wall, but he didn't. You expect when you run a play like that, Jim, to have a guy wide open. But there were still 3 bodies around number 99, Lenore. So give the Auburn defense some credit.
Eric Ramsey was in there with Lenore.
Jeez.
And it was a fight for the football.
It's not too often when you run the fake field goal, you see 3 guys covering the receiver.
So Auburn takes over from its 5-yard line. Strong and Danley in the backfield. No gain. Van Treese Davis, number 47, hit him head on at the line of scrimmage. We're in the final seconds of the first quarter. Let's quickly go to John Dockery.
You know, Jim, it's a very special game, history in the making. So a special ticket was designed about twice the size of a regular ducat. Also, this has been printed on T-shirts, hundreds of them made up before and sold in the last 6 months.
All right, Doc. And they'll exchange sides as we end the first quarter. Auburn 7, Alabama 3. College football returns after this message and a word from your local station.
Introducing the 1990 Toyota Celica.
We're saving another 10% on our car insurance.
We welcome you back to the start of the second quarter. Some have called this gathering the Alabama version of Woodstock. Over 85,000 in the stadium, and expected crowd of over 30,000 just outside the stadium coming down to Auburn to be here for this historic event. First time Alabama playing here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. When they say standing room only, Pat, that's what they mean.
You know, I've never seen so many people so passionate about a single game, Jim. I mean, we're lucky enough to cover a lot of big games, a lot of rivalries, but this particular game, I have never seen so many people passionate about it.
2nd and 10 for Auburn. from its own 5-yard line. Stacy Danley, and a gain of 4. Willie Wyatt hit him.
Show you the respect that Auburn has for Keith McCants. 3 different guys that time tried to block the middle linebacker, Keith McCants. You can't just block him with one.
Now Tennessee has moved in front, trailing 10-3 against Vanderbilt. Consecutive touchdowns for the Vols, and they're in front.
Important down here for the Auburn Tigers, 3rd and 6. They need to get themselves a first down to keep this drive alive.
Taylor in motion. Slack to Joseph, first down. James Joseph.
And Reggie Slack, Jim, he's a guy, the coaches yesterday said, hey, I'll be surprised if Reggie Slack doesn't have a good game. Well, he's off to a very nice start on the day. 6 of 10, 99 yards, including the big pass to Wright, and that was a big 8-yard gain there to Joseph.
He sends the tight end in a slot left, number 87, Victor Hall. 1st and 10. Joseph past the 20 to the 23-yard line, tripped up by Thomas Graham. Big 6'7" defensive tackle who was the hero up at Happy Valley when he blocked the last-second field goal that would have won it for Penn State. Blocked Ray Tarassi's 18-yard field goal to Thomas Graham.
Well, you know, you always have to know where that man lines up. Keith McCants, he's primarily an inside linebacker, but they'll move him around. Only 4 tackles today, but as I mentioned just a moment ago, they had 3 different people blocking him.
2nd and 5. Movement on the right side.
And we talk about how guys affect the game. That time McCants went down into the line.
Ball foul before the snap. Movement by an offensive lineman. Still got 2nd down.
McCants started as an inside linebacker, Jim, went down as a down lineman, forced the lineman to call an audible, and that's what caused the penalty. He was moving around between being a linebacker and a down lineman.
Overton, number 4, coming to the bottom of your screen. Wasden to the right. 2nd and 10. Pass intended for Overton. It went through his hands. That was a catchable ball.
Even the home team is being bothered by some of the noise. You'll see hand signals here to call audibles. So he gives him the number 2, and that's a route. Every team has a passing tree, and numbers signify a certain route. So it is a very, very loud Jordan-Hare Stadium.
3rd and 10 for Auburn from its own 17-yard line. And Slack calls a timeout. First one called by Auburn in the first half, with the Tigers leading at 7-3, early stages of the 2nd quarter. Join us at 12:30 Eastern Time for the NFL Today. A look at Tim Harris of Green Bay. And a full slate of regional coverage, including Philadelphia against the Giants, Green Bay and Tampa Bay, the Rams and the Cowboys, Saints and Detroit, and San Francisco against Atlanta. Some of you late will get Washington at Phoenix, but some important games in there, including the Eagles against the Giants, and they'll also update the injury status of LT on the NFL Today.
You know, Jim, I think the year that Tim Harris has been lost on some people because of Don Makowski, but he has had a very nice year.
3rd and 10, Auburn going long for Wright. Oh, through his hands.
Dangerous play by Stacy Harrison. Number 1, the defensive back who tried to knock it away. He missed it, and I thought Alexander Wright might pick it up.
Alexander Wright has gone deep with success this year, Pat.
And it all starts right here with protection, and Slack had plenty of that. But watch number 1 in the middle of your screen. If you're going to make a play like that, you have to tip the ball away. If you're going to take a chance, you have to knock the ball away.
Richie Dell will punt. Barefooted kicker Not real deep, but a fair catch called by Jelks at the 50-yard line. 33-yard punt as we go back to the sidelines with John. John?
You know, Jim, so many famous names, so much tradition here. Way back in 1895, John Heisman was the coach at Auburn, beat Alabama 48-0. He was so intent in winning that the story goes once he greased the railroad tracks when a Georgia Tech team was coming in. They slid another 5 miles, had to walk back. Needless to say, he won 45-0 that day. Back to you guys.
All right, Doc. In fact, Auburn's first win against Alabama, Heisman was the Auburn coach, 1895. And down goes Hollingsworth. Ricky Sutton on the sack.
By number 92, Ricky Sutton did a nice job of just fighting through a player who's right up here and fights through the block. I think it's a Chapman, number 70, the tackle. No, it's a fullback, and then the guard, Chris Robinette, number 50, who's got to hit him right in the numbers. He got on the edge of him, and Sutton ran right through it.
A loss of 5, second and 15.
And the hand signals on the audible.
Stacy. Tackled by Fernando Horn. It'll set up 3rd and long for the Crimson Tide.
You know, we just saw that sack just a moment ago by Sutton, and if a guard is gonna pick an outside linebacker up, he's got to get right in his numbers. You can't get on the corner of him, otherwise he's gonna miss that block, and you're gonna have a lot of sacks.
Third down and 12. Shotgun time for Alabama. Here comes the rush. Ogletree on the sack.
That's the 3rd sack today of Hollingsworth and the 11th of the year for Craig Ogletree. Right down there, he is going to go through actually unblocked. Now, ordinarily, either the back should pick him up or Hollingsworth should dump the ball to the back right now. Should be a hot receiver, but nobody even touched Ogletree.
So 2 sacks on that series, and now Bill Smith punts for Alabama. Wasden is the return man. He starts from the 18. To the 24-yard line. 40-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Still 7-3 Auburn.
On New York's 5th Avenue, where you can find anything you've ever dreamed of, there's a place where dreams come true every day. Because at FAO Schwartz, you can make friends with a bear or test drive a race car. And if you use Visa there or anywhere in the U.S., one more dream could come true. Because almost anything you buy
is much bigger than the outcome of the game, because this is the last brick in our building that started with a dream 50 years ago. Our stadium is 50 years old this year, and Jeff Beard and Coach Jordan through the years, that dream was to give Auburn the kind of home schedule that we got now. The history of that, to me, is more significant than looking back 25 years from now and who won or lost this football game.
Well, the deal that was worked out, 91 home game for Auburn, will be played at Birmingham. Then it's back to Auburn in 93, and they'll alternate years from here on after that. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Stacy Danley picks up about 3, tackled by Vantrease Davis. You see him, number 47. He's one of 4 players in this game from Phoenix City, Alabama, in Central High School. James Joseph, who scored the game's only touchdown, played high school football with Vantrease Davis, as well as Marco Battle. And Ed King, the great sophomore guard for Auburn. Now 2nd and 7. McCants just went right around Stacy Danley.
Well, he may have gotten a face mask as well. It was a great play by McCants, who that time lined up as a defensive end. But on the sack, it was a power sack, just a bull rush. I think he got his hand on Slack's face mask. Bottom of the screen. It's a mismatch when you have McCants against the back. You need a big body. There's the easy call on the face mask. But you have to know where Keith McCants lines up. Is he at middle linebacker? Is he at tackle? Is he at end? And then you have to get a big body on him. You can't have a back block.
Face yard, face mask penalty, 5-yard penalty, still be second down.
McCants told us he has a split personality. Once he hits the field, he says, I can't hardly control it. He plays like that, doesn't he? Bill Curry even said that he's obsessed with being a great football player, McCants.
Well, you know, Derek Thomas was the great linebacker here a year ago at Alabama, was a kind of an angle player. On the corner of the defense was a sack specialist, but Keith McCants is an inside linebacker, and he has to fight through guards and tackles and fullbacks to make plays.
Penalty did not pick up the first. 2nd and 2. Danley going for it, and he has it. He plows right into the back of his fullback, Alex Strong, and leans forward for the first.
That is a very nice 3-yard run. You don't think guys like Stacy Danley know how important this game is? Again, this isn't a 40 or 50-yard game. This isn't terribly exciting, but watch. He knows that he needs 2 yards. He knows what's at stake here, and he just barrels through about 3 white jerseys to pick up the 3 yards in the first down.
8 carries, 22 yards for Danley. 3 receivers in the game on 1st and 10, including Herbert Casey. And another timeout called by Slack, leaving Auburn with 1.
Well, that's kind of a surprising timeout. You expect timeouts to come out on 3rd downs, not on 1st. That was a 1st and 10 when Reggie Slack called the timeout.
While we have a timeout, let's go back to our man on the sidelines, the Doxter.
You know, Jim, you and Pat are talking about what you do with a guy like Keith McCants. Well, Pat Dye was on the sidelines wondering the same thing, and what he was talking to Pat Sullivan about was possibly using 2 tight ends to try to neutralize McCants when he lines up on the outside in the rush. Also, if you look closely, you'll probably see more of Alex Strong. He did a good job earlier in the game in blocking McCants on the blitz. Stanley had his problems there, so they too are worried about what McCants can do, guys.
But Doc, I really think you have to have a big body on him, not a back. That's Alex Strong, that man that John Doctor was just talking about. But I think you need a guy like Ed King or Rose or Selby on him.
You know, we've been talking about the significance of Alabama coming to Auburn. It's not the first time that Auburn has had to overcome the obstacle of trying to get teams here. Georgia finally came in 1960 after the series had been played in Columbus. Pat Dye was on that Georgia team. Georgia Tech and Tennessee also waited until the last 2 decades. Now Danley on the run. On the first down carry for very little. Interesting, Georgia and Georgia Tech have their rivalry brewing today.
And the hurry-up offense here to keep Alabama from changing its defensive personnel.
I'll get back to that in a minute. 2nd and 9. Danley on the pitch. And Sullins hit him after about a gain of 5. Talking about Georgia and Georgia Tech. As the Tennessee game has a minute to go. 2 coaches in this game hail from Georgia and Georgia Tech. Pat Dye played for the Bulldogs. Bill Curry for the Yellow Jackets. Now a 3rd down play out of the hurry-up offense. 3rd and 4. Danley tries to lean forward, and it's going to be close. It'll depend on the spot. Willie Wyatt hit him first.
Stacy Danley has a real nice feel. We have seen this game for where the first down markers are. Now he got stopped. He certainly was stopped short of that, but it was the second effort, the lunge, that if they did pick it up, it was because of that second effort by Danley.
It is the first. Midway through the 2nd quarter, 7-3 Auburn.
Boy, he has played well against Alabama and give the last 2 first downs really to Stacy Danley, and he has done it entirely on second effort.
Danley the lone setback now on first down from the 47-yard line of Auburn. gets away into Alabama territory and out of bounds near the first down. Steve Webb was in on Slack quickly. He was able to run past him and tuck it under. It's a gain of 9 for Auburn.
Well, Keith McCants on the inside is going to make the play all the way to the sideline, and he will play from sideline to sideline. But a nice fake by Reggie Slack. You know, he's a big guy, but he can really move. Gets a nice block downfield. Then it's McCants who smokes him, and that was inbounds. That was not a late hit.
2nd and 1. Slack's pass batted and intercepted by McCants. Deflected by Spencer Hammond, and the turnover by McCants. McCants with the interception.
You know, you get the feeling when you watch McCants, you get the feeling of a guy saying, hey, don't worry about anything, I'll make all the plays. But number 44, top of the screen, fights off a block, bounces up. That's Hammond, makes the tip, and then McCants has enough athletic ability to make the play. But it was Spencer Hammond, number 44, who fought off the block and got the hands up.
Hammond with the tip, and McCants with his first interception of the year. Now, from its own 37, Alabama first down. Stacy. For only a yard as Wiley makes the tackle. John Wiley. Saran Stacy, junior college transfer from Coffeyville Junior College in Kansas, same one that produced Mike Rozier, delivered him to Nebraska. 18 touchdowns this year for Saran Stacy, just 2 shy of the SEC record held by Herschel Walker and Reggie Cobb. 2nd and 9. The pass to Stacy. And he has an Alabama first down. Well, that might not quite be a first down. They may have the measure, Pat.
Yeah, and Jim, that was a play I thought Frankie Stankunas, the strong safety from Auburn, really should have made a play on. At first, I thought he was going to pick it off, the strong safety, and then he really should have prevented the catch here. You know, talking to Homer Smith, the offensive coordinator at Alabama, he said Stacy is a receiver much like Roger Craig of the San Francisco 49ers. He's got real soft hands. And that's amazing, as many times as he carries the ball and gets pounded and gets those hands hit and they get bloodied and scratched, he still has soft hands to make catches like that.
He is a bit shy of the first. And let's go back down to John. John?
You know, Jim, if you look behind me, you see David Rocker on the sidelines, very dejected, very disappointed. They taped up his ankle. He tried to go. He just told me he couldn't in a very, very sad way. This is the biggest game, one of the biggest games in his career, and he has to sit and watch as his team battles Alabama.
Well, John, he was saying earlier in the year that the best thing about this defense is that we pull for one another.
3rd and less than a yard. Hollingsworth on the sneak. Probably got it.
Gary Hollingsworth, all 6'4" and 175 pounds of him. Jimmy looks a little bit like a one-iron. He is, and he gets ribbed and kidded by his teammates a lot for being so tall and skinny.
Well, he can be an elusive target. You know, a one-iron's hard to hit also. He's carried on the Alabama quarterback tradition that goes back to Bart Starr, Joe Namath, Ken Stabler, Richard Todd, Scott Hunter. And now the end around to Lamont Russell. And a loss. Elton Billingsley, but you see the celebration from Corey Barlow, number 12. That Auburn defense wasn't fooled there. A loss of 4 on the play.
And you mentioned Elton Billingsley, number 47, right part of the screen. He was not fooled. Then he had to fight off 2 blocks, number 47, and he did it right there. Kept the outside, forced everything inside, and then still made the play.
It's a 4-yard loss. 2nd and 14. Tennessee wins it and is 10-1. Darrell Crawford, but into Auburn territory they move.
Boy, Kevin Turner just kind of sucks the ball up. He is the fullback. Came into the game with 43 catches. And again, this offense features the fullback and tight end, which is unusual in college football. Most teams don't throw the ball to a fullback, and I have never seen a fullback covered at any level, Jim. They always seem to be open.
This guy can really catch him, though, as far as fullbacks. 44 catches on the year. 3rd and 4. Hollingsworth. Hey, you're talking about a 1-iron being hard to hit. The old 1-iron runs out of bounds, picks up the first down, untouched.
Well, you know, he does this boot action quite well. If there's a rush, which he's faced early in the game, they started changing their game plan to get him on the corner of the defense on the boot action. That time, everybody was covered. There was no support, so he just ran it for the first down.
Ball is at the 36 of Auburn. 1st and 10. Martin Houston in at fullback. Casmus in motion. Flag down, and Stacy runs the ball to the 31-yard line. Tackled by Crawford. We'll check the flag.
Once again, not only was Crawford in on the tackle, Jim, John Wiley, whose name we've called several times today, the free safety, was there making the play as well.
Had an illegal shift. Did not all get set before the man went in motion. Still first down.
Backs up the football to the 41. There's the Auburn coaches.
Man sitting down the far right of the screen, I believe that's Wayne Hall, the defensive coordinator at Auburn, who has done just a sensational job over the years coaching and coordinating this defense.
1st and 15. Hollingsworth across the middle to Turner. He did a nice job. Hollingsworth just getting that pass away. The rush was coming in on him. Fernando Horn. And he dodged the tackler, got the pass away. Second stingiest defense in the country behind Miami as far as points allowed.
I don't think coordinators or assistant coaches get enough credit in college football. We always seem to talk about the head coaches, but both of these teams, I think, have great staffs, both on offense and defense.
2nd and 15. Stacy may have fumbled the football. And he did. It was recovered by Alabama. Looked like Chapman on the recovery. 3rd and long coming up for the Tide.
And if you're thinking about what is Philip Doyle's range for the Tide, his career long is 53 yards.
That would be the approximate distance from here. 3rd and 10. Owens Lassick. And a first down for the Crimson Tide. Gain of 13 on the play.
Lots of people wonder why defenses don't play more man defense. Well, that's a perfect example of it, why you don't. Because out of the backfield, Owens Lassick, number 25 after the fake, is man for man against 56, Darrell Crawford. And he puts a little head fake on him, a little shake move, and runs away from him and catches it for a first down.
Donnie Finkley is a receiver here, but the play goes to Martin Houston, and he gets to the 20-yard line.
Donnie Finkley, and why we talked about all the wide receivers. We went through about 15 wide receivers at Alabama, and Donnie Finkley was not one of the guys we talked about this week.
Keep us on our toes. Finkley, there he is, breaking out of the huddle and sprinting to the bottom part of your screen. 2nd and 7. Martin Houston driving forward. It'll set up a 3rd and short. Lamar Rogers on the tackle. Well, it's the day we talk about all year in college football, so it seems. Always working toward the Heisman Trophy Award. And that announcement coming up today, live on CBS, following Auburn and Alabama. 12:30 Eastern time.
Going to be a close one. Who do you think is going to win it?
I think Andre Ware is going to win it.
So do I.
3rd and 5. Man is open. It's Marco Battle. Touchdown.
That he was open on for the touchdown when they didn't throw him the ball. That time they did, and they got the touchdown.
Doyle on the extra point. And Alabama now leads it 10-7. Only the second touchdown against this Auburn defense by the passing routes this year.
And give Bill Curry some credit. This play was open in the first quarter for a touchdown. Hollingsworth didn't see it earlier. He told him to come back, and this time they got it. A great call and throw by Gary Hollingsworth.
Marco Battle, but watch what happens to him. Lamont Russell, the tight end, actually picks him off, and that allows Battle to run free across the end zone for the touchdown. That is a defensive back's nightmare, and I have to question the legality of it all, guys. Back to you.
Well, you know, Doc, actually it looked accidental. It didn't look like an intentional pick there. Look, because that was the same pass that Russell caught earlier in the game.
Doyle drives it. Mix-up down at the 10-yard line, scooped up by D'Amico Anderson. And Auburn is backed up at the 11-yard line. Stacey Harrison came down to hit him, finish him off. Now time to announce this week's Toyota Leadership Award winners as we single out some outstanding students and citizens from each team. Today's team winners: Hal Clemmer from Auburn, a finance major from Birmingham; Michael Ramble from Alabama, secondary education, social science major from Corona, California. Congratulations, guys. Toyota donates a check for $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. Out of the eye, Joseph and Danley in the game. They're going to throw it instead over to Alexander Wright. And McCants swings him down.
Keith McCants has had himself a first half, his 8th tackle of the day, and he's made them inside, he's made them outside, he's made sacks. Number 86, he's calling the audibles too defensively, as you see. Watch his eyes. He just has a few, avoids the block by the wide receiver, fights through a little bit of traffic, and then has the speed to tackle an all-American track man in Alexander Wright.
Remember, the Alabama last drive was set up after the interception by McCants. 2nd and 16. Danley into the open and out to the 24-yard line. May have the first down. In fact, he does. 17-yard gain by Danley.
And this time they tie Keith McCants up. Watch the left guard. I think that's Ed King, number 67, and the center, who really do a great job of tying up McCants. Ed King, the All-American guard, really locks on Keith McCants, and Danley finds the hole behind him. Terrific block by Ed King.
1st and 10. Looking long for Wright. Led just a bit too much. Reggie Slack and Alexander Wright started the season on the right foot for Auburn. The first play from scrimmage for this year. Slack to Wright, 78 yards and a touchdown against Pacific. In fact, in that game, Alexander Wright set a Southeastern Conference record at 5 catches, 263 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Auburn, Jim, needs to get to about the 38-yard line of Alabama to give Wynn Lyle a chance to kick a 55-yard field goal.
And 2nd down, in comes Willie Wyatt, and he snuffed out that play to Danley. And now the clock running out here in the 2nd quarter.
You know, Willie Wyatt, number 98, he was a great high school wrestler, and he says you have to be able to use your hands as a nose tackle. You have to have great leverage, use those hands, you know where to place your hands, you can throw guys aside. and he gets off the ball and makes a nice play there.
Timeout called by Alabama with 24 seconds left in the second quarter. Well, the battle cry here is War Eagle. There'll be a battle next week up at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Army and Navy, and check out the time, folks.
And don't you dare be late.
That's 2:30, in case you didn't know. If you're late, I'm going to have 100 push-ups.
All at once, or can I spread that over a couple of weeks?
I'll let you do 100 sets of one.
2:30 Eastern. It's kind of one of my favorite games. I'll tell you that game, it means as much to those players as this game does to these guys. And for many of those players, that Army-Navy game, the last football game they will ever play. A game they started playing when they were young men in their hometown streets. But that'll be their last one next week.
3rd and 14 for Auburn. They run the football with Joseph. Cuts his way for only 3. And now, thought Alabama might stop it. They do. Try to get a rush in and go for the block punt perhaps here, the closing seconds.
Well, Jim, this first half really has been very much, I think, a half of defense. Very good defense on both sides of the ball. Well, offenses are having trouble moving the ball with any sense of rhythm. We've seen one big play, the pass from Slack to Alexander Wright. But other than that, it's been a day of defense.
Well, at halftime, we're going to be taking you to the DAC, the Downtown Athletic Club. Greg Gumbel and Mike Francesa are there. Later today, Greg will be joined by James Brown for the Heisman Trophy Award ceremonies here on CBS. Now, closing seconds here of the first half. Richie Nell is the punter for Auburn, averaging 37 yards a punt. Gene Jelks is the return man for Alabama.
And if you're Alabama, you have to think about coming after this punt.
Kick away, and a good one by Nell. Jelks bumbles it around and kneels down at the 38-yard line. No return, 39 yards on the punt. Now 5 seconds left in the half. One more play before the half. Auburn and Alabama. When I tell you, the emotion and energy here today, I don't know if I've heard a louder crowd, Pat, even the one last week at the Orange Bowl.
And, you know, the players, they've known each other since they were in grammar school, played with and against each other since they were about 10 years old.
Shuttle pass to Saran Stacy, and he moves it all the way to the 41-yard line where he's tackled by Dennis Wallace, and the half ends. It was a good first half of football. Alabama scoring all 10 of its points off turnovers. And the halftime score, Alabama 10, Auburn 7. Now let's go to the Downtown Athletic Club with Greg Gumbel.
All right, thank you, Jim, and welcome back.
By the U.S. Armed Forces, where opportunity is waiting for you. GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors. And by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
We welcome you back for the second half. Jim Nance along with Pat Hayden. 10-7 Alabama leading over Auburn. And just moments ago, our colleague John Dockery spoke to Pat Dye.
Strategy for the second half in a nutshell.
We're going to come back and try to run basically what we've done. Hopefully we can go into the fourth quarter with the game close as it is now, and then we're going to have a chance.
Thank you.
Auburn will kick to start the second half. Jim Von Weil is the kickoff man for Auburn. He drives it, bouncing around from the 15, scooped up at the 4 by Jelks. Jelks out to the 32-yard line. Tackled by Eric Ramsey. Gary Hollingsworth comes out onto the field, needing just 9 yards to set the single-season passing record for Alabama quarterbacks. In the first half, Alabama benefited from the 2 Auburn turnovers, cashed it in for 10 points. Tackles for a loss. Auburn was 7 in all. And the pass passing yards. Auburn early, but not in the second quarter. Only 2 yards passing in the second quarter. Straight out into the shotgun. And an inside give to Stacy. And down he goes. Lamar Rogers wraps him up. In the first half, Alabama punted the first time it had the football. And then a fumble set up a field goal. Turned it over on downs as they tried on a fake field goal. And is scoring a touchdown in the final 2 minutes of the half to take the lead. On 2nd and 13, Hollingsworth flushed out, now passes. It's Battle again on that slant route. He scored on late in the second quarter, and a gain of 14.
Well, a quarterback loves to see a receiver do that. Come back to the football, as again Alabama in the no-huddle offense. Now, they're unusual in their shotgun formation, Jim, in that they can run all of their offense, all of their runs. They run out of the shotgun, unlike most teams.
Auburn went to a no-huddle midway through the second quarter. Now Alabama shows it. On first down, Hollingsworth across the middle and behind Lamont Russell, the intended target. And let's take a look at where Hollingsworth's been throwing the football.
Well, you know, he said at the top of our broadcast today, he likes to throw the ball kind of short, underneath the coverage. He's been an accurate thrower coming into today. But again, it's under 10 yards has been his primary area of throwing the ball.
2nd and 10, still out of the shotgun. Wembley in as a receiver, 3 receivers in all for the Tide. No flag. The pass caught. It's Battle, and Battle into Auburn territory at the 39-yard line. A gain of 17. Hollingsworth now has the single-season passing record for the Alabama Crimson Tide, eclipsing Scott Hunter's single-season mark.
Well, this is amazing. Even with the change in receivers, they still go with no huddle, and Hollingsworth calls the play on the line.
Pass incomplete, intended for John Cazamus. Hollingsworth waving his team back to the line immediately. Sanderson set to the left. Now he'll shift to the right.
And again, trying to prevent the 5th defensive back from coming in from Auburn.
2nd down and 10. They give it to Stacy. Turner out in front, along with Cazamus. And Stacy gets near the first down. There's the man confident. The man with the glasses, Homer Smith, offensive coordinator.
He is...
The play is all Smith. At the Auburn 30. All Smith, 3-4 solid. The KT is winning.
One of the most innovative minds, I think, in college football. You talk about old-time Alabama people who've been watching Alabama offenses for a long time. They think highly of Homer Smith.
3rd and a long one.
Great play-action fake by Hollingsworth.
Intended for Kevin Turner. I'll tell you, Pat, Hollingsworth can fake you out. I lost the football on this one. He got it now on his hip.
And Stacy does a nice job of diving over the top. But again, it was John Wiley, number 9. Pretty good coverage on Turner that forces the 48-yard field goal attempt by Doyle.
From the left hash mark, Wall to hold. And from 48 yards, Doyle, no good. Short.
Wow, so on 3rd and 1, Alabama elects to go for the play-action fake. And that's 2 surprising calls by Alabama. Once on the fake field goal, Jim, in the first half. And there on 3rd and 1, they try to go up top and pick it up with a throw.
It's only the 3rd field goal missed this year by Philip Doyle. He's 21 of 24 now on the year. Now Auburn with the football for the first time in the second half. Darrell Williams is in at the tailback, number 45, a freshman. They fake to Williams, and Slack almost has it picked off. Lee Osmond out there. Pass was short, intended for Greg Taylor.
There was pressure from the backside of Reggie Slack. The thing about it, if you watch Reggie Slack enough, he really has remarkable courage there in the pocket. You know, it's a tough position to play when you have a lot of big bodies coming after you. He has had that all day today, and yet he's hung in there in the pocket and delivered some nice throws. That one was definitely short, but he's delivered some nice throws today.
Pat, you recall he threw for nearly 100 yards in the first quarter, but he's hit on only 2 of his last 9, including an interception. 2nd and 10. Man is open. It's Wasden. He cuts back to the middle. Here comes McCants after him, and McCants got him by the foot.
Unbelievable play by Keith McCants. After the 59-yard reception by Wasden. This is a great offensive play, but you have to enjoy the defensive play here of McCants. He, early on, has the tailback out of the background, and the ball is 25, 30 yards away from McCants. And remember, he's 250 pounds. Wasden is 174 pounds. He still catches up. That is incredible.
Fumbled on the tail end, but he was down. So here's the first down play, and James Joseph is upended. And again in the area, it's McCants.
Another look as he cuts back. Remember, right now they're about 30 yards, a little longer than 30 yards apart. That's how far they started apart. Remember, that's number 3, Charles Gardner, who's a defensive back. McCants is outrunning him. That's why his ability has changed the nature of this Alabama defense this year.
2nd down and 10. Danley in now at the tailback. James Joseph in the flat and about a foot short of the goal line.
Boy, nice touch by Reggie Slack there to James Joseph. And Reggie Slack is getting banged and hit, beat up, but still he finds a way to back off while it rushes into space, make the ball a real easy catch for James Joseph, and now it looks like, well, they're going to measure for the first down.
Joseph was tackled by his old high school teammate, Vantrese Davis. Now, we told you this rivalry completely engulfs the whole state of Alabama. The 2 touchdowns in this game have been scored by high school teammates, Marco Battle and James Joseph. Now they play in separate schools, but they played together back in the prep days at Phoenix City Central High School.
Well, virtually all of these players have known each other most of their lives.
It is 1st and goal, just inches shy of that goal line.
Oh, boy. Brad Johnson, the right guard, looked like he left awfully early. And that's a big play. You know, down in the goal line, offensive linemen want to get off so quickly and so low. Sometimes that can happen to you, particularly when you're trying to go on a quick count, which it looked like Auburn was trying to do there. And he was also trying to block Keith McCants. He is very much on his mind.
2 tight ends, Hall and Autry. Joseph and Danley in the backfield. On 1st and goal, Danley driving, and about 1.5 yards short. Again, it's McCants. He's everywhere, number 86. 6'4", 246. He can run a 4.5 40.
You know, it's like Don Lindsay, the defensive coordinator, says, hey, you have to let the stallion out of the stable every once in a while and let him play. And that's what they do with Keith McCants from time to time. Just let him roam from sideline to sideline. 11 tackles on the day.
Well, from the play-by-play sheets in the press box to down on the field. What will they write here on 2nd and goal? Joseph and a touchdown. second touchdown today, and Auburn is ahead. Rob Selby being helped off the field. He's had nagging ankle injuries on both ankles, and now comes in on the play that helps launch the touchdown for Joseph and is helped off the field. Hudson to snap it back to Chris Dickinson, and Wynn Lyle on the extra point. He's a good one. Perfect on the season on extra points, and good again.
Well, Jim, Auburn has been awfully good on their first drive of each half. Here in the opening drive, as James Joseph, their leader, dives into the end zone to put them Auburn ahead 14-10.
So 14-10, your team on top. But the importance of this game, the significance.
Auburn people today made a journey they never thought they'd make in their lifetime. And that's what means the most. Our people came home, came to Mecca, then to the promised land. And we may not win the game, but we're equal. For the first time in 50 years, we're equal. We dictate the terms where we play our home games.
All right, is that your game towel?
This is good luck and a sweat towel.
Okay, guys, back to you.
All right, Doc, the kick goes out of bounds. David Housel, the pride of Gordo, Alabama, and to really put this game in perspective, on my way to the national championship game in Seattle this year, I happened to hitch a ride with David over to the Kingdom. What was he talking about? Seton Hall in Michigan? No, he was talking about Auburn and Alabama on December 2nd.
He is unbelievable. He has lived for this game for 20, 30 years.
Wonderful, dedicated man. Today, sure a very busy task as much of the Southeast and the media from all across the country really has come in to watch this showdown at Jordan-Hare. I'm Jim Nance, along with Pat Hayden and John Dockery. And we're early in the third quarter. Auburn leading Alabama 14-10. After the 5-yard step off, a good kick by Von Weil. Jelks takes it from the goal line and is tripped by Alex Thomas at the 23-yard line.
Well, now Alabama trails by 4 points, and if you grow up in this state and you grow up watching Alabama or Auburn play as a young man and you dream about playing in a game like this, these are the moments that you wait for. If you're guys like Gary Hollingsworth and Stacy and Kevin Turner and Lamont Russell, being down by 4 and a chance to put your team ahead.
Saran Stacy to the 28-yard line and a 5-yard run, tackled by two outside guys, Billingsley and Ogletree. Ogletree's had a good game, a sack in the first half. Pat, you were talking about the fact that Ogletree has 11 sacks on the year. All the years ago, Andre Bruce came out of this school, and Pat Dye still says the best one he's ever had.
Craig Ogletree has better stats, actually, than Andre Bruce. And Craig Ogletree says the minute we walk on this campus, we talk about team defense and effort, and that's how we play every Saturday.
2nd and 5. The fake and the throw and the reception by Russell, and a first down at the 40-yard line.
You know, Lamont Russell doesn't really, burst past defenders. He just kind of glides through the secondary and linebackers. His 4th catch of the day. But he doesn't have a tremendous burst, but he just has that sense of where he is and where defensive people are, and settles down into those soft spots for catches like that.
He has 4 receptions on the day for 80 yards. First down, Alabama. Stacy. And a 3-yard gain into the pile that includes Ogletree and Riggins.
In a game like this, every inch is important. This game means that much to these players. And you've seen running backs like Stacy, Alabama's Saran Stacy right there. Even though it was only a 3-yard gain, it probably should have been a 1-yard gain. But that's what it means. Those extra 2 yards mean everything in a game like this.
He has 14 rushes today, 53 yards. after 5 straight 100-yard games. 2nd and 7. Here comes the rush. Hollingsworth gets it away, incomplete. Quentin Riggins was coming in on Hollingsworth, and he had to throw it away into the area of Russell.
Nice play by Quentin Riggins. You know, I was talking to Quentin yesterday, and he said, hey, I look at the offensive linemen, and I think I have a read on those offensive linemen when they're going to pass and when they're going to run. I look at their hands, and if they don't have much weight on the hands and they're in a pass mode, I think pass and I defend pass.
Owens Lassick in there at tailback on 3rd and 7. Russell again, and it's another first down for the Crimson Tide.
Anytime your tight end is catching that many balls, you have to make sure that you jam them at the line of scrimmage. And Wayne Hall, the defensive coordinator at Auburn, said yesterday, we've got to make sure that we jam him. We can't let him off free. That's Wayne right there. He coaches the defensive lineman, and he coordinates the defense. Somewhere behind him, Jim, is his father, Mr. Hall, who comes to all the games and sits in the box.
There he is.
Loves those hot dogs. 3 hot dogs today at halftime for Mr. Hall.
1st and 10. Hollingsworth to Turner. Defender slipped momentarily. Turner fumbled the football. Recovered by Auburn. Dennis Wallace on the recovery.
Wow, what a play for Auburn, because Kevin Turner had made a nice catch and a nice run after the catch, and he was trying to keep his balance. Right before this fumble, you're going to see him put his arm down, and when that happens, it was number 9, Wiley, who first hit him.
Riggins got a hand on it.
41, yeah, who caused the fumble. Wow. Quentin Riggins.
Auburn takes over with the football and the lead. 14-10 midway through the 3rd quarter. Slack, all kinds of time. And a flag down. Alexander Wright on the reception. He had been bumped out of bounds, Pat.
Yeah, in college football, if you're bumped out of bounds, you're allowed to come in back to the field. He was bumped out.
60 yards on the play. You think it will stand?
Well, they're talking about it. Pat Dye is signaling the official penalty on the defense was reclined, but once you're bumped down in college football, unlike professional football, you're allowed to come back in. All you see him there is running out of bounds, but before he was pushed out by number 5, Thomas.
And he was about 4 yards out of bounds after the bump.
But he didn't head the play. He didn't stop. He kept accelerating down the sideline, and Thomas did stop.
So the 60-yard play sets up Auburn from the 13-yard line. Joseph to the 11.
You know, Jim, I think sometimes these college guys watch so many pro games on Sunday, they forget some of their own rules. And in pro football, if you get knocked out of bounds, you can't come back in. It looked like Ephraim Thomas just stopped.
You remember Devon McDonald last week trying to scoop up the fumble instead of falling on it. You can't run the football back on a fumble once it hits the ground. You can if you recover in midair. A fumble. Now 2nd down play. They run it with Danley and no gain. Hit by Webb. Steve Webb. That time, Ephraim Thomas was policing that side like Ephraim Zimbalist.
Wow, did you stay up late last night thinking about that one? Well, here we are.
From your notes.
3rd and 8 here. This is a very big play for this Alabama defense. Think what's at stake. The SEC championship, perhaps a national championship attempt on January 1. And it may come down right here to this play.
3rd and 8. Alex Strong is the lone setback. On a wing is Joseph. Slack will tuck it under. And he gets to the 5, which is a yard short of the first down. 4th and 1. Thomas Raham got him by the ankles, and Auburn now, will they kick or will they go?
And Pat Dye is asking one of the team managers down by the yard markers, how far is it? It's a 4-point game now. You know, a team captain can always request a measurement. Surprised they don't have Reggie Slack request a measurement.
It's a long one to go. And now from the sidelines, Auburn's calling for a timeout.
That's the right call.
And they see it in the huddle. So they call it with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Auburn leading.
Next time you experience headaches, backaches, nausea, and sleepless nights,
and they went with the Win Lyle, that is. The place kicker, Win Lyle. So he'll attempt a 22-yard attempt. He can make the difference now 7 for the Auburn Tigers here in the third quarter. Dickinson will hold. Hudson will snap.
Remember the block by Thomas Rayom against Penn State a few weeks ago.
Lyle boots it through. 14 of 17 on the year. Homegrown product from Auburn, Alabama, and a senior. And it's now 17-10. Young man is a 3.66 pre-med student at Auburn. Points in the third quarter for Auburn after trailing by 3 at the half. Dick Butkus will have the story of the best linebacker nobody knows. That's tomorrow on the NFL Today. He's talking about Tim Harris. And also the latest on the Lawrence Taylor injury. And Brent will talk to Randall Cunningham as the Giants and Eagles get ready for their big showdown. It's a regional coverage day. You'll have to check your local listings. Here's the slate. It includes all of these games. You'll get one of them, San Francisco, Atlanta, or maybe late Washington against Phoenix. But it all gets started at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today.
You know, Jim, we saw Tim Harris early in the year, an outside linebacker for Green Bay, and he has had a marvelous year. And not only does he sack the quarterback, he stuffs a lot of runs as well.
We worked that game, Green Bay and Tampa Bay, the first game of the season. Two teams coming on, especially Green Bay now. Here's Jelks on the return.
Ooh.
Boy, is he hit. This Auburn special teams coverage, including Al Nash for the second time today. Backing up the tide to the 16-yard line.
Fun now, baby. Woo!
They are having some fun. And that's what this game should be about. That's William Glisman. For 55.
Now down 7. Hollingsworth and second-ranked Alabama come to the line, 1st and 10. Flags are down. Stacy is dropped for a yard loss by Lamar Rogers.
Folks, I can't tell you how loud it is here. I have been into a lot of stadiums, but it is a roar, and it has been all game. I'm standing right next to Jim Nance, and there's times I can't even hear you, Jim. Early in the third quarter, we saw the negative plays by the Auburn defense. I believe it was 7. And this Auburn defense has played very well. It's been turnovers that have allowed Alabama to score.
So back them up 5 yards on the procedure penalty, and the pass to Russell. And a good gainer to the 25-yard line. 13 yards in all. Wallace on the tackle. The attendance figure, 85,000 plus.
There's a lot on that plus, too.
We're at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. And the first time ever, the Crimson Tide has played on Auburn soil.
And Jim, it's been a day, I think, of terrific defense. A couple of big plays we've seen in the passing game. Slack to right and another big pass to Shane Wasden. We've seen some great linebacker play out of Keith McCants from Alabama and Quentin Riggins from Auburn. And two coaches trying to keep their Sugar Bowl hopes alive.
Well, let's talk about that. Tennessee has won, and now 10-1. They finished the regular season. Pat, what's going on here at the field? Any idea at all? It's 2nd and 2 right now.
They may be having some problems with the clock, Jim.
Scoreboard clock indicates 5 minutes, 16 seconds to go in the third. They're just mentioning a record. Yes, they are adding time on the clock. But 12 seconds they felt were slighted, so 5:28 now. They'll adjust.
An interesting note, the entire crew, obviously from the Southeastern Conference, they make sure that none of these officials are from either one of the schools, as you might expect. There have been some problems in other conferences this year after some controversial calls, quite honestly, where one of the referees was, in fact, from one of the universities playing in the game. But they make sure here in the Southeastern Conference that none of the officials come from either school.
5:38 they'll put on the clock. That Win Lyle field goal broke Al Del Greco's Auburn career field goal record. It's 17-10 Auburn here in the third.
You know, it's amazing. We've talked about how much this game means, and when you talk to the young men who are the participants today, you really get a sense of it. Even guys like Charles Gardner, who's a guy from California for Alabama, says that he thinks about Auburn 365 days a year.
2nd down and 2 as we're back to play. Inside give to the power back, Martin Houston, and he has the first down for Alabama.
Tough inside play. Roger Schultz, number 66, against Richard Shea, 93. Don't think those guys know what's at stake? Every lineman that plays in today's game, I guarantee you, will be in the whirlpool tomorrow, Jim. It's that kind of game.
1st and 10 from the 28. From the shotgun. Into the flats and dropped by Stacy. Billingsley was with him. Would have been probably only a 3-yard gain. Running down that line toward the sidelines.
Elton Billingsley has really been one of the keys they felt today, coming in today in pass coverage. But I think he's done a nice job of stopping some runs as well. They thought that he was going to have to take away the fullback and backs in the flat. He's done a pretty good job today of that.
2nd and 10. Owens Lassick is in the game. And he makes the catch and gets to the 36-yard line. He does not go down easy.
Well, you know, with so many short throws here by Gary Hollingsworth, you would think with the linebackers that tight, now they're set up perfectly to go beyond the linebackers, get the ball downfield a little more deeply to one of the wide receivers. Because those linebackers, Elton Billingsley, Riggins, Crawford, Ogletree, they're hugging the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 3. Back under center. Fake. And now incomplete. Intended for Russell. Wiley on the coverage. Owens Lassick, another man, was in the area. He felt the heat coming in from Billingsley, the man you just mentioned, Pat. Well, Alabama will have to punt.
I think Alabama's going to have to make some adjustments on offense. Their running backs have caught 8 passes, but now they're going to have to change gears and throw the ball downfield more.
Wasden ready for the return from Bill Smith. Anderson came in on it, but the kick is away. And will roll dead right at the 20-yard line. 45-yard total on the punt. We're in the final 4 minutes of the third quarter.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Meet the 1990 Geo.
Getting to like you, getting...
One of them.
I understand this is really hard to believe. But I ran 47 yards on an option play with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter in a rainstorm in Birmingham, and we won 7-3 my senior year. You couldn't see anything. You couldn't see the hash marks. You couldn't see the numbers. You couldn't see yard markers. You couldn't see anything. You just ran until you ran into a chain link fence.
He did enjoy playing the game, did he? One year at Alabama, he led the team in rushing, and the next year he led it in passing. The snake.
From the 20, 1st and 10 for Auburn. Slack hands off to Danley, and a quick 10, led by the block of Alex Strong, the fullback.
Pat Dye said to John Dockery as he's coming out to the second half, he says, we want to keep this game close and wear them down in the second half. But it's plays like this, right here, the fullback, Alex Strong, who cleared the way for Danley. And it's plays like that that open huge holes for running backs. You know, fullbacks don't get enough credit. They always have to make those kind of blocks. Don't carry the ball much, don't necessarily catch many balls, but make a lot of key blocks.
That was McCants that he was able to freeze momentarily. 2nd and 1, just short of the first down. Now Slack dancing around, throwing, incomplete, it's ruled. Intended for Danley. Auburn just shy of the first. And Andre Ware, well, tell you what, he can go in and shower up, get changed, come back out on the sidelines where he'll be talking when he's interviewed from the...
You know, I think we're going to have to do something as upset in the making there. SMU over Arkansas. Wow.
Wow, that is amazing. But Ware and the rest of the candidates we'll be hearing from later today on CBS on the Heisman Show. The announcement live today on CBS. On 3rd and inches, Danley gets it. Tackled by Rayum.
You know, Jim, speaking of Andre Ware, there just seems something wrong about the enforcement of some of these penalties teams like Houston have. Andre Ware was not involved in any of the wrongdoing at Houston. I think he was in junior high school or high school. It just didn't seem right to me that we're penalizing him and that program. And college football fans across America who can get a chance to see him play this year or perhaps next year.
Well, next year, Houston can play on television, but will not be able to go to a bowl.
But, you know, I think Dick Schultz is a free-thinking guy at the NCAA. And I think it's one of the things they really should look at, penalizing the right people.
Now flags are down and a delay of game against Auburn. Let's send it downstairs to John Dockery. Doc?
You know, Jim, you've been talking a lot about Keith McCants. Well, I had a chance, as you listened to the penalty, I had a chance to talk to some pro scouts up in the booth before, and they said that McCants is as good as Cornelius Bennett, rated as high. If he comes out, he would be one of the top players in the draft, if not the top. And one scout told me that he is a Troy Aikman-type talent on defense. What a player.
Wow, that's saying something. They've had some great linebackers coming out of here in the last couple of years. Cornelius Bennett and Derek Thomas, both of those in the top 5 picks.
1st and 15, Danley. Short yardage. Hit by John Sullins.
You know, Jim, you sense that Keith McCants really enjoys his experience at Alabama. I'd be surprised, really, to see him come out early.
Just a junior from Mobile, Alabama.
Well, it's up to Keith McCants and his teammates right now as they trail Alabama by 7. To stop him here, forced to punt by Alabama, and give Gary Hollingsworth some decent field position to work with.
2nd down, 13, 14. The catch is made. Herbert Casey.
And what a precise route run by Casey and a frozen rope thrown by Reggie Slack. Casey lined up on the left and ran the out route, and the ball is just perfectly led right out in front of him because he is well defended by Ephraim Thomas with a perfect throw, and the fact that Casey just came back one step made that reception.
16 yards and a 1st down from the 45-yard line. Darrell Williams, number 45 now. You see him at the tailback position for Auburn. Here he gets the carry. And he meets Willie Wyatt right away for only a yard gain.
Jim, I think as well as Auburn's defense is playing, and as we wind down the third quarter, I don't think Alabama can afford to let Auburn score again and go down by 2 scores. It's a 7-point game right now. They can't afford to make a 10-point or a 14-point game.
1 minute to go in the third quarter, with Auburn leading by 7. Second down and 9. All kinds of room for Alexander Wright. Working on Mangum's side. Wright was open, just turned around, and Slack had the football right there for him. Near another first.
But Jim, you're right. He was wide open. There was a big cushion because they've run him. Look at the cushion here. But that's because he's run so many deep routes. This time he just runs the little out route here for an easy catch. But this was set up, Jim, by the 4 deep throws they've already thrown to Alexander Wright. We're talking to John Mangum this week about Alexander Wright. And he said, he could break down your cushion faster than any player I have ever seen. And that's why he gave him the 15-yard cushion.
Just short of the first. 5 receptions, 108 yards for Alexander Wright. Working on John Mangum, first-team Football News All-American.
Bill Curry has gone through an awful lot in his 3 years as the head coach of Alabama. He's had bricks thrown through his window in his office. Hasn't been accepted by a lot of the faithful at Alabama. But I think he's done a marvelous job this year. 10-0. And I think he's awfully good for college football.
His defense now must try to hold here in the final seconds of the third quarter. 3rd and inches, James Joseph and Stacy Danley in the backfield. And a first down by Joseph.
Jim, earlier in the game, you were talking about James Joseph being the leader of this team. But, every time they seem to get in a critical situation, they get the ball, they find a way to get the ball to James Joseph. Whether it's the short yardage run or a pass on 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5, one way or another, James Joseph is involved in the important plays.
Well, he has scored both of Auburn's touchdowns today. Gets the first down here from the Alabama 43. And a loss on the play. Darrell Williams hit for about a 3-yard loss by Sullins. And that's the end of the third quarter. With the score, 11th ranked Auburn, 17, 2nd ranked Alabama, 10. College football on CBS Sports returns after this message and a word from your local station.
I've got a sinus headache right now, and it just will not go away. It almost feels like my cheekbones are bruised back in here.
Today, Lynn Keever is trying Tyler.
CBS Sports coverage of today's CFA game is sponsored by Smooth Operator Wet Dry Razors from Panasonic. Electric razors used with water and lather. Western Union, the fastest way to send money. And by Xerox, the antifreeze coolant for extreme conditions.
A jam-packed Jordan-Hare Stadium here, 85,000 plus, enjoying the fact that their home team, the Auburn Tigers, leads Alabama by 7 points. And as we begin the fourth quarter, you have to wonder who has the edge. The way I see it, Auburn Tigers, they are the home team. And also, if you watch closely, they've substituted much more freely than Alabama, so they should be fresher for this quarter, guys.
Especially on defense, Doc. They'll be very fresh on defense. 2nd and 14 for Auburn now at the Alabama 47-yard line. Slack to right, and another first down.
Football has not been real easy for Alexander Wright. Came in, was a defensive back his first couple of years at Auburn. They transferred him or changed him to a wide receiver. It took him a long time to get comfortable, but now in his senior year, he's playing with a lot more confidence and a lot more feel for the game, and he's had a nice day today. 6 catches, 123 yards.
This is a team that saw its receiving corps depleted by the loss of Lawyer Tillman, Freddie Wagan, And now Alexander Wright steps forward today. First down from the Alabama 33. Danley breaks the tackle. Hammond tackled him, and not until Danley dashed for 20 yards.
You know, character on an offensive football team starts with the offensive line, and you sense this offensive line of of Auburn, really beginning to do the job. And it's guys like Stacey Danley running behind that offensive line who refuse to quit that are making the difference as we begin the fourth quarter.
Catullo and Hall with big blocks to help free him, and he was able to shake off a tackle from McCants, surprisingly. First down, Joseph. A couple of good belts in there by Summons and Hammond, and only a yard gain.
Well, 13 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and we said just a few moments ago, this defense of Alabama has to stop Auburn here, has to come up with some sort of negative play, a turnover, because the way the Auburn defense is playing, if they get down by 2 scores, it's going to be a very difficult fourth quarter for the Tide.
13th play of the drive for Auburn. Second down and 9. Williams, the lone setback. It's Darrell Williams. Touchdown. The freshman they call Electron. Darrell Williams. And Win Lyle now with the extra point, and a 14-point lead for Auburn.
And this, you stand behind the defense and try to tackle Electron Williams. This guy has some burst in him. He runs right through Charles Gardner and then over Lee Osmond. That is a nice run by Darrell Electron Williams.
It's the closest race in years. Find out who will win the Heisman today.
Panasonic presents the Smooth Operators. The Smooth Operators are cordless rechargeable razors that shave remarkably close, either wet or dry. It takes a smooth operator to unite the old-fashioned closeness of a warm, wet shave with the convenience and no-nick comfort of an electric. Don't try this with any plugged-in razor. Smooth Operator wet-dry razors from Panasonic. Smoother than you ever thought.
Tigers leading second-ranked Alabama 24-10 in the fourth quarter. 13 minutes to go. They cry out, War Eagle, as Von Weil drives it to Pierre Goud. The return to the 25-yard line, tackled by Wallace. Of course, coming up after this game, we'll have the Heisman Trophy Award ceremonies from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York.
I think it's going to be the closest vote since Bo Jackson won it over.
That was the closest, 85. Oh, Bo's win of the Heisman over Chuck Long.
Alabama needs to get the ball to the wide receivers on the move.
Intercepted and dropped. Darrell Crawford. One official is indicating he's going to rule it down as an interception.
Yep.
It is an interception, Auburn. They rule it an interception, and Crawford, they say, fumbled.
Well, he must come down with possession, Jim, after he goes up. Number 56 in the middle of your screen right there.
That was at normal speed. Did the ground cause the fumble?
I'm not sure he had possession there. He may have been bobbling that ball, Jim. He may have been bobbling that ball.
Now from the 35 of the Tide, Auburn takes over. And the play is whistled dead. Boy, that last one, Pat, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have to have possession of the ball when you come down. Again, in the middle of your screen, number 56. Now it's the left part. Now right there. I think he was bobbling that ball. I do not believe that should be an interception. He did not have possession when he came down.
Pat, on the second look, you can see that the ball was squirting loose. He was losing it through his elbow as he was falling to the turf. Nonetheless, it's Auburn football and a 5-yard step off for offsides against Alabama. So it's 1st and 5 for Auburn. Stacey Danley to the 26-yard line.
Now the Alabama defenders must strip the ball carriers. You can't just afford to tackle guys. You have to strip the ball.
Alabama with the longest win streak in college football since Notre Dame lost last week. Their streak is at 12. Their last loss was against Auburn a year ago. 15-10 Auburn victory. But now at 10-0, should Alabama lose today, it will be a 3-way championship in the SEC. Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee. 2nd and 2. Danley for the first. To the 21-yard line with McCants on his back. Now, with that note, and Auburn up 14 and driving in for another score, Pat, what does this do for the Sugar Bowl picture from the SEC?
Well, I think it absolutely clouds it. I mean, quite honestly, do you choose Auburn if they go on to win the team that beat Alabama? Or do you say we're going to choose the highest-ranked team between these two and perhaps Tennessee? I think it makes it very confusing, but they're going to have to make a decision after the game, so they can't wait for next week's polls to come out.
Again, we talked to the Sugar Bowl committee yesterday. Executive Director Mickey Holmes. Williams to the 17-yard line. And Pat, there will be a conference call after this game should Auburn hold on for victory.
And remember, there is some precedence for a team going to the Sugar Bowl after losing to another team. As a matter of fact, LSU and Auburn tied a year ago, and LSU had beaten Auburn 7-6, but Auburn went to the Sugar Bowl. So there is some precedence for it if they were to invite Alabama.
It's because Auburn was 10-1 last year, and LSU was 8-3. 2nd down 8 from the 19 of Alabama. Williams to the 17.
I was talking to Larry Blakeney, the offensive coordinator of Auburn this week, and he says at practice time he stands behind the defensive backs and watches his offense to match. And he said about Darrell Williams, Electron Williams, you can hardly see him. The freshman, he's 5'9", 190 pounds, and he gets lost inside among all the big bodies.
Now, Arkansas trailed in this game 24-23, but has come back with 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion to go up by 14. 3rd down and 6. Danley back in there, gets the football. And he will not get the first, but a very big field goal kick coming up from Win Lyle. He could make the difference, 17, and that, of course, means 3 scores would be necessary by Bill Curry's Tide.
And remember the block that Alabama had against Penn State, and it was Thomas Graham, who was 6'7", who blocked the Penn State punt.
Lyle from dead center on the field, 31-yard attempt. He nails it. It's 27-10 Auburn over 2nd-ranked Alabama.
Whole grain nutrition is important.
Let's re-emphasize at stake here today the state championship, which is first and foremost in Alabama. The SEC championship, which could end up in a 3-way tie the way it's going. The Sugar Bowl berth from the SEC, that is very much up in the air at this point, and national championship implications. A loss by Alabama obviously eliminates the Tide, but an Auburn win would keep Notre Dame in the picture. And I also believe it would benefit Michigan.
Miami's not happy right now, I guarantee you.
Von Weil kicks to Good from the 4. Hit by Stan Kunis at the 26-yard line. Tomorrow, the National Football League continues on CBS. Dick Butkus with the story on Tim Harris from Green Bay. The Packers. Boy, what a story they've been this year in the NFL. But later on, we'll have regional coverage, including the Eagles-Giants contest and Green Bay against Tampa Bay. The Rams and the Cowboys, the Saints and Lions, San Francisco, Atlanta, or Washington, Phoenix. From the shotgun, Alabama must score quickly. Almost intercepted by Billingsley.
You know, Alabama has thrown so many short passes, those linebackers are just squatting right there. There's very little space, very little air on those shorter throws now. But that should mean, Jim, that there's something open behind them for a crossing route to one of the wide receivers.
Second and 10. To Turner. Just a short gain is all.
And you know, up by 3 scores, Auburn is. They're going to keep everything in front of them. They're happy to give that kind of pass to Alabama. Conversely, Alabama has to hit a receiver who's on the move, who has a chance to cut across the grain and make a big play.
Third down and 8. To Turner, first down, Alabama.
What a nice adjustment by Turner. A great touch by Gary Hollingsworth. These games are fun because in this kind of game, there's no quit in any athlete on the field today.
That was a 15-yard gain. And out of the hurry-up offense, Hollingsworth ready for the snap back to him. And another reception. And this time it's his high school teammate, Greg Sanderson, with a flag down.
Late flag, but again, that's just what we said. If the linebackers are playing that close to the line of scrimmage, your wide receivers should be open downfield, Jim.
See Hollingsworth look over to Sanderson.
Face mask, 5-yard face mask. Tacked on to the end of the run, be first down 10.
As he runs downfield, Hollingsworth looks to his left and to Craig Sanderson, gave him a little wink.
They've been playing together since high school.
Now the ball's at the 29-yard line. Sanderson was open, but Hollingsworth was past the line of scrimmage to the 25.
It's Homer Smith now standing up. And now he's thinking again, I've got to get the ball downfield. 3 scores down. We can't just dink it, possess it anymore. We need big chunks of yardage now.
Battle has scored the lone touchdown for Alabama. He's at the top of your screen. Sanderson to the left. Across the middle, caught by Russell. Oh, Wiley came over. I thought he might make a stab at the interception, but it's a first down, 11 yards on the play. 7:56 left in the game. And Alabama driving. Now the lob to Battle. He caught it. Touchdown.
Terrific pump fake by Gary Hollingsworth allowed Battle to go right by Eric Ramsey. That's a heads-up play by Gary Hollingsworth.
Now Alabama will just go with the point after with Philip Doyle. They wasted little time on that possession. Doyle's kick is good. Only took 1 minute 45 seconds to drive it for the score. Pat, what about this one, the battle?
Yeah, and the little things help you win big games, but the little thing here was a pump fake by Gary Hollingsworth that drew that drew the corner, Ramsey up, and allowed Battle to go behind him. And again, nice touch by the throw by Hollingsworth.
Xerox presents the Great American Torture Test.
7:51 to go. Do you kick the onside kick here or kick it away?
I think you kick it away and play defense. The onside kick is such a low percentage play that you give Auburn too good a field position. Rely on your defense.
That's what they'll do. It comes to Anderson. And he's out of bounds near the 25. Our man Skippy right in on that tackle.
You know, Bo Jackson early in the game, that bite that we saw earlier, said to strap those television sets down.
That's right. He wasn't kidding, was he? And a penalty on the return, Pat, being stepped off against Auburn.
Wow, and that is a big play for Alabama fans. But now it's really important for this defense. They cannot afford to allow Auburn even one first down, Jim. And I tell you, this is such an important game. You know, Rob Selby's come back into the game, and he's got bad ankles and bad knees for Auburn, number 78, the tackle. That's what this game means. Even if you're hurt and you're banged up and you're bruised, you play in this game with 7:46 remaining.
1st and 10 from the 12. Danley, a 2-yard gain is all. Hit by Willie Wyatt. Alabama has all 3 of its timeouts left. Auburn used 1 in this half.
And so often you see so many offensive teams become so conservative in situations like this. Yes, Auburn has a 10-point lead, but they've gotten that by being aggressive on offense.
Second down and 9. Well, Pat, here you go. The pass caught and a first down. Alexander Wright. And you were right on the money.
And give Pat Sullivan, who calls the pass plays for Auburn, a lot of credit. This takes some courage down here. But this is what you have to do. You have to have confidence in your seniors. Guys like Reggie Slack, who knows he's going to get hammered after he throws the ball, but he throws it beautifully to Wright for the big first down.
George Thornton buried him into the turf after he released the football. But Slack's okay, and it's a first down for Auburn. Joseph now the tailback. No gain. Sullins on the tackle. Arkansas, with that victory now, will march on to Dallas with a 10-1 record in the Cotton Bowl, but that other spot is not so certain at this point. You know, some were wanting to give it to Tennessee, but again, that decision could be coming up after the game from the Sugar Bowl committee. They may have to choose between Alabama and Tennessee.
Quite honestly, Jim, I will be surprised if Alabama doesn't get the invite, even if Auburn wins.
2nd and 11. And another timeout used by Slack. Auburn left with only 1. 6 minutes to go in the game, and it's a 10-point Auburn lead.
Who's pulling away in advanced for
everything? That's headache.
Second down coming up. 2nd and 11 for Auburn. With 6 minutes to go and leading by 10. They brought back in Lectron. Darrell Williams. He gets the pitch. Cuts back, but gains only a yard. There's McCants. At the conclusion of this game, we'll be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. And Chevrolet will donate a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of each school.
That's going to be a hard pick, too, Jimmy, because there's a lot of players that have played their hearts out today.
Pat, with it 3rd and 11. A first down means you're going to get the football for about another 2 minutes. So this is of prime importance right now for Alabama. Alabama will get the football back. The pass intended for Alexander Wright.
And remember, Alabama is going to get some reasonable field position as the Alabama defense stops Auburn for the first time this half.
There you see it prior to this possession. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal.
So Bill Curry's decision not to go for the onside kick turned out to be the right one.
Barefooted boot to Jelks, looking for the right side. Oh, the seam. I thought there might be a clip, but there's no flag. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line. The scoring started with James Joseph on the first possession of the game. Scoring for Auburn. Alabama's Doyle kicked the field goal. Then battled just before the half. Gave Alabama the lead, 10-7 in the intermission. But in the third, Joseph, his second touchdown. And Lyles field goal. And then Williams made it 24-10. Another field goal, 27-10. And then a touchdown by Alabama. It's 27-17 right now. Kevin Turner gets to the 38-yard line where he's buried by Corey Barlow.
You know, Jim, some teams aren't good at running 2-minute offenses, but Alabama, this is their normal offense, really. They ran this in the first half. They ran it in the third quarter, so this is not an unusual offensive system for them.
2nd and 5. Hollingsworth caught at midfield by Sanderson, and a first down. A gain of 11.
And again, they need 2 scores. They need the field goal and the touchdown. So you'll settle for either one, perhaps, on this drive.
All 3 timeouts remaining for Alabama. Ball is batted away by John Wiley. Corey Barlow in there, too.
Yeah, Wiley tipped it first. And John Wiley has had one great game. He's made tackles. He's supported the run. He's made tackles outside. He's defended passes. He's tipped balls.
Hollingsworth drove his team just a little more than a minute, 40 seconds last time they had the football. Can he do it again? 2nd down, 10. They fake to Stacy. Hollingsworth has the football, running free to the Auburn 40-yard line, and I think he has another first down.
He did get the first. Picked up a nice little block there, a screen block by Prince Wimbley, the wide receiver. Ran right behind that for the first down.
This 6'4" quarterback grew up as an Auburn fan. Used to come down here to 2 or 3 Auburn home games a year. His brother Ryan graduated from Auburn this spring. Most of his family are Auburn people, but probably not today, Pat. 1st and 10. With Ogletree rushing, the pass to Battle, and he slides for the catch about a yard short of the first down, and the clock is moving.
Again, which means that the next time, if Alabama scores the next time, I think Bill Curry will have to go for the onside kick the next time, Jim.
And they've got all 3 timeouts remaining, and they're moving it so quickly and efficiently. 2nd and 1. First down on the completion to Saran Stacy.
You know, when you need 2 scores, you'd much prefer to get the touchdown first. Because then if you get the ball back, you can at least try a long field goal attempt. So Alabama has to be thinking touchdown first here.
Last-minute substitution. Owens Lassett comes in for Stacy. 1st and 10. pass to the sideline. Again, it's Battle. And man, is Alabama impressive right now.
Yeah, and this was set up earlier when they threw so many passes to the backs. The linebackers are still hovering around the line of scrimmage, and there's a lot of space for the wide receivers to work.
All kinds of cushions out there, and Hollingsworth is exploiting them. Second down and 1. They run it for the first. I'm not sure they got it. Kevin Turner was the ball carrier.
You know, just to stop the clock, Hollingsworth can ask the official for a measurement and stop the clock. And he should be up there asking for it.
Apparently they're about a foot shy. They have to get near the 15-yard line, not all the way to it for the first. It's third down in less than a yard. Across the middle.
Oh, pass interference, I thought.
No interference called. Pat Casmus was the intended receiver. Looked like he got hit early.
Yeah, it looked like Anderson, 13, was over Casmus very early.
Now the question, with you needing 2 scores, do you go ahead and kick the field goal now? Well, let's take a look. Was this interference?
Oh, yeah, I think he went right through him. I think that has to be a pass interference call, and it looks like they're going to go for it. I'm surprised they didn't run the ball there on 3rd and 1 with 3 timeouts. They could have run for the first down and then called the timeout.
Auburn makes a last-second substitution. Shea in, Wallace out. 4th and a foot. And Martin Houston picks up the first down. He didn't have it after the first hit, Pat.
What a great run by Martin Houston, because he was stopped. He was getting pushed back, but refused to stop.
They stop the clock to move the chains. 1st and goal now inside of the 10.
And Auburn calls a timeout.
That's Auburn's last timeout. No timeouts remaining for Pat Dye and the Tigers, who are trying to hold on here.
All things great, all things that can be great, begin with a sound foundation. The 10 universities of the Southeastern Conference have been, are, and
from the 9, trying to line up the Sugar Bowl people. Here's Hollingsworth, throw, just out of the arms, outstretched fingers of Marco Battle.
What a fitting final quarter to a game like this. When a game means as much to players as this particular game means to these guys, who live with this game 365 days. You expect great plays, and we've seen a lot of them today.
2nd and goal. They run it with Houston. And he's tackled at the 5-yard line by Quentin Riggins. Wiley and Walter Tate in there too. Clock is running with 2:10 left in the game.
Now, Bill Curry's got a lot of decisions ahead of him. Does he try to score the touchdown here? And does he go, if he does he go for 1 or 2?
Now 3rd and goal. Hollingsworth. Incomplete. And no flag. Now with the 4th down, Pat, you need 2 scores. I think you got to kick the field goal.
I think you have to kick the field goal here. If it were 4th and 1, maybe you think about it, but you need the 2 scores anyway.
And he sends out the field goal unit. Philip Doyle is the kicker. We've talked about his great numbers on the year.
Tough angle, though, Jim, from the right hash mark that close.
23 yards, the distance. From the right side, right center. This to stay alive. And it's good. 27-20. Auburn with 1:49 to go, and Alabama with all 3 timeouts left.
Well, now I believe they're going to have to attempt the onside kick. It's one of the lower percentage plays in all of football. You recover these about 15% of the time. Yeah, but I think it's the key thing on these onside kick attempts, though, Jim, is that the kicker get 2 bounces. And then on after the second bounce, you get the high hop.
Again, we heard John Dockery a few moments ago trying to track down Jim Flower, the Sugar Bowl president. They're right now on a conference call, and they're not going to make the decision until the game is over as to which team they would take should Auburn win this game. It would be either Auburn, Tennessee, or Alabama, but most likely Alabama or Tennessee. We were hoping to get him down and get the latest status, but they're conferring at the moment. And let's remind you that the Heisman Trophy ceremonies are coming up just a few minutes away. We'll be taking you to the Downtown Athletic Club in New York. Greg Gumbel and James Brown will be there today. We name the winner.
I'm predicting
Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, Andre Ware, Anthony Thompson, and Major Harris. That's my predictions.
That's the trifecta.
That's my ballot. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, is there any doubt now?
And the kicker is Alan Ward. He was a high school All-America field goal kicker. Now, this is a huge kick. Ball was caught. It cleared after the second bounce.
I thought it was number 15.
Auburn has the football. And it was the backup quarterback.
Yeah, Frank McIntosh.
Frank McIntosh.
Even the quarterbacks get in there and mix it up.
It's still not over with the 3 timeouts remaining for Alabama.
But they cannot allow Auburn to have even 1 first down. Then the game's over. So they must stuff them 3 straight plays using all of their timeouts.
What was your exact order of finish for the Heisman?
Do I have to repeat it? I forgot it already.
What was your? I was trying.
No, I said Andre Ware, Anthony Thompson, and Major Harris.
Now flags fall. I think Tony Rice will be in the top 3.
Do you?
I do. I still think he'll be in the top 3.
I look forward to finding out.
Before the ball was snapped, movement by an offensive lineman.
Oh, that's a
first down.
Significant step off there against Auburn. When you're most likely going to keep it on the ground, you back them up 5 yards. 1:47 to go, and it's 1st and 15. First game ever on Auburn turf between Auburn and Alabama. Danley.
Oh.
And he went out of bounds, but picked up big yardage all the way to the 42-yard line, but he did stop the clock.
And he got 2 nice blocks, one by his right guard, Mark Rose, and the other by a wide receiver, Shane Wasden, number 8.
Gained 10 on the play, and that put Danley over 100 for the game. 24 carries, 105 yards. Now, the carry, however, did not pick up the first down, and going out of bounds, Pat stopped the clock. 2nd down and 5. Danley again. And a first down.
And what a block by the center, John Hudson, and Ed King, the left guard.
Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. Auburn leading 2nd-ranked Alabama. On the Auburn campus, 1:36 remaining, and Stacey Danley has had an outstanding career against Alabama. He's over 100 today, just a few yards shy of the 100-yard total last year, and eclipsed 100 yards 2 years ago. 1st and 10, Auburn. Danley. A brilliant run to the 20-yard line. A gain of 14, and Alabama now calls its second timeout and is left with only one.
You know, Pat Dye grew up as a lineman, played guard at Georgia, and he has always felt that linemen win games in the fourth quarter. And that's what's happened here. Pat Dye and his offensive linemen and defensive linemen have put this game away in the fourth quarter. And for these seniors at Auburn, Jim, first time in history, a group has beaten Alabama 4 times in a row. And Reggie Slack was part of it.
Well, if Pat Dye and his Auburn Tigers hold on, these seniors will go out in style 4 straight times over Bama. All kinds of marks. Not only that, but Pat Dye will join 3 other coaches as the only ones to have won 3 straight SEC titles, or pieces of the crown, joining Bob Nealon, Vince Dooley, and Bear Bryant. First and 10. Danley for no gain.
You think David Housel's towel is wet now?
Last timeout called by Alabama.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
Look, we can save $300 on this Tandy 1000 computer. It's PC compatible.
Has the football and the lead. Ball is at the 20-yard line. Coach Pat Dye was moved this week by a letter written to him, the letter from a World War II veteran and prisoner of war, Mr. Jim Fennell, now 73 years old, from Trinity, Alabama. He wrote the coach about commanding respect in the face of adversity, about teamwork and fellowship, and a touching story about a fellow soldier who died in his arms. Now the second down play. McCants on the tackle after a 3-yard gain. Coach Dye read the letter to his team on Thursday and brought tears to many of their eyes. Pat Dye, in fact, contacted this man on Thursday night, promised to take him to the Auburn Bowl game. He was really moved by that, Pat. He was talking about it Thursday night.
He was still misty-eyed Thursday night. And again, he said, and we heard him early in the broadcast, say that the fact that Alabama is finally here is more important than the outcome of this game. Well, he's going to get the win besides the fact that Alabama's here for the first time.
40 seconds to go. This is a third down play. Slack throws. Boy, can you believe it? It was batted down by Spencer Hammond, and it stops the clock.
Well, and now Win Lyle is actually going to come out and attempt a field goal.
Pat, how do you do that? I mean, how do you put the ball in the air when you're 2 snaps away from running it out?
Yeah, with 37 seconds remaining, he could just run the clock out. It was a silly call, actually.
So now when Lyle comes in for a 34-yard attempt, should he miss it, Alabama will have the football and a chance to drive it with just seconds remaining. Lyle's kick. It's good. That'll do it.
The weather? That's no excuse. Oh, yes, you do. Introducing Excuse-Proof Exercise, the affordable ergometer from DP, with air resistance for total no-impact fitness at home. Made in America for bodies that need no excuses. The DP ergometer. No more excuses, America.
30-20, Auburn over Alabama. A grade A matchup. And the 11th-ranked Tigers about to upend previously unbeaten and second-ranked Alabama. Von Weil to kick for Auburn. Keeps it on the ground. scooped up. Derek Warren has it for Alabama. Now just 29 seconds left. Let's tell you the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. Alexander Wright from Auburn. 7 receptions, 141 yards today. They opened up the air game with Reggie Slack. And from Alabama, Keith McCants, 19 tackles and an interception. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each school's General Scholarship Fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Hollingsworth throws it away.
It's been an amazing game. Started out very much as a defensive game, then it became a game of big plays.
Sugar Bowl will have to make a decision after this game. It'll be a 3-way tie. Season's end now in the SEC. Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee will share the conference title. The guys from New Orleans have the pick. They'll make the call some point tonight. And now, while here, Alabama's national championship hopes are dashed, there are others who will benefit by this, Pat, including Notre Dame. Notre Dame's formula to stay in the championship hunt was Auburn to beat Alabama, and then the SEC champion to beat Miami in the Sugar. And Notre Dame must beat Colorado in the Orange.
Yeah, I think that's a big F. That's going to be a very tough game for Notre Dame.
Here's Hollingsworth now. Lobbing it up, and Wallace with the interception. A flag on the tail end of this. The interception stands.
Too much celebration was the penalty, but they have a right to celebrate.
The Heisman Trophy Award coming up next. Bill Curry comes in with 10 wins, no losses, but still now walks away with his first loss of the year and has not beaten Auburn. The Auburn Tigers have done it. They've waited for this series to one day come to their home soil. They win it 30-20 over Alabama. Up next, the Heisman Trophy Show. This is Jim Nance with Pat Hayden and John Dockery saying CFA College Football has been a presentation of CBS Sports.
Morning, folks. This is Captain Neely. Appears we've got the friendly skies.
The ultimate symbol of college football excellence. Go back to the year 1945, a battle between teammates at Army, Glenn Davis and Felix Doc Blanchard. Army won its second straight national championship that season, and Blanchard led the nation in touchdowns and total points. He also led the nation in the Heisman voting, Davis finishing second, for the only 1-2 finish by teammates in Heisman history. In 1967, the Heisman race went west, matching rivals O.J. Simpson of USC and Gary Beeman of UCLA. Simpson carried the Trojans to a national championship that year, but it was Beeman who won the Heisman. O.J. had to wait another year to claim his.
I'm very happy that I won it in '67 and that he won it in '68. And I think that as the years have gone on and O.J. and I have gotten to know each other better, I think that the way that the script played out, I think we're both very happy with it.
In 1985, it was a race between Bo Jackson of Auburn and Chuck Long of Iowa. And when the ballots were counted, it belonged to Bo,